Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can
Nice
be
to have
found on
everybody here this evening. Everybody goes to Stillwell's afterwards. Welcome to the Exeter Planning Board meeting of Thursday, July 9th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the NOAC room in the town office building located 10 Front Street, Exeter, New Hampshire. We start off with introducing the board. I'm Langdon Plummer, Chair, and Aaron's will be absent, so I'm going to appoint somebody, but...
Okay, Gwen English, regular member.
Nancy Belanger, Select Board Representative.
Sam McLeod, alternate.
Dean Hubbard, alternate.
All right.
And Marty Kennedy.
Elaine Hayes, alternate.
Ryan Kelly, alternate.
Brian, we're welcome tonight. He's a new alternate, and I'm proud. It took me 32 years to get this a full board. 7 members, 4 alternates. Yay!
And John's on.
Speaking of alternates, I will have
John.
John, excuse me, John Gruder is here on the screen, and Jen is
might as well
downstairs
go
taking
home,
care of
but I
the
am.
situation. She'll be joining us shortly. In the meantime, Sam, I'm going to ask you to act for Dwight Brown. Yeah, sure. For Aaron Brown.
Brown.
This evening, please.
Sure.
And have the minutes of the June 25th. I guess we've got enough to do it. Or should we hold till next time?
I was wondering, Mr. Chair, if you'd consider moving those to the end of the meeting because we have a pretty full crowd.
We can do that, yeah.
Do you mind? Thank
No,
you.
I think we should, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So we'll put those on the table momentarily. Okay. Old business, a continuation of public hearing for the application of 26-3 for Kelly Associates for site plan review for the proposed demolition of the existing dry cleaning building and a proposed development of a 4-story building for a 22-room hotel. Property is located at C2 Highway Commercial Zoning District, as identified as tax map 65-125. It's planning board case 26-3. And Dave, do you have some
I do. Thank you.
things to share with us, please?
I do. I have quite a bit to share with you on this one because since I wrote my memo, the applicant reached out after the packets went out and asked about amending their application in light of the new state law that went into effect on July 1st that allowed multifamily in commercial zones by right. So this law, just basically, said, with a few exceptions, like if you allow industrial uses or manufacturing uses, you can prohibit multifamily, which we do in several zones, but not in this one. But we do allow. I don't think this law did us any favors. I thought Exeter was pretty forward-thinking, and the way we zoned and innovative land use controls and kind of steer development where we want and where infrastructure exists and so forth. So, I think we've done our part for the housing crisis as well. Like, a lot of development has happened and a lot's approved and still yet to be built. So, I think, but anyway, the state law applies to everybody. So it applies equally to us. So on this, they decided, in light of the new state law change, that they were going to go under C2 zoning under multi-use. And multi-use is residences, multifamily residences are allowed anywhere except at street level. And that's in our zoning, and right now it's required via special exception. But the state law, it's our opinion that the state law made that by right. So the multifamily is allowed by right, and all the commercial uses are allowed by right already. So multi-use, the state law moved that multi-use into by right, so there is no need for them to get a special exception to make that change. When they first asked for it, we were inclined to say, just submit a new application, because we wanted re-notification of abutters and a set of plans showing all, the changes and so forth. They asked to amend it's almost, to me, it's a distinction without a difference, because we said, as long as you, we don't talk about it tonight, you know, we're okay with you amending your application, but you get us a plan set, you know, for the next meeting, and, you know, time for packets and so forth, and the website, that detail what you're gonna do, and you renotice abutters. And you waive the rights to the 65 statutory timeframe. I spoke with them about that. I believe they were in agreement when I was on the phone, and Josh is nodding yes again. He is here on behalf of the applicant to, you know, to answer any questions you might have. But other than that, I think they can move forward with an amendment going back to their residential, you know, units on top, commercial on the bottom, under the C2 zone. And they just need to be tabled to the August 27th to allow them time to, you know, redevelop some plans for us and renotice abutters. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm looking for a motion.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
First? So waiving that 65 days, does that restart for our August 27th meeting?
I would think so, but they, you know, you can ask them. I mean,
I can't say sorry.
I mean, they might want to
It's not
just
gonna-
waive it one meeting at a time, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think we ever take a lot
I just wanted
of.
to try to clarify it, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't think our past practice has taken a lot of time and, you know,
It hasn't,
abusing that
but
at
I
all.
like to
so.
clarify.
But,
Still,
yeah,
thank you.
I would, you know, I would like it to start. Yeah, Josh can chime in to see what he wants. I would hate to
couldn't
answer
see
for
if That
them.
was Josh over there,
Yeah, I would
sorry.
hate to answer for him.
Please introduce yourself so everybody knows who's speaking, although I recognize you.
Oh,
Speak a little louder.
don't put your, there we go.
Okay,
You're
very good.
good.
Sorry. Let me try that again. My name's Josh Lanzetta. I'm an attorney at Breton and Berube, representing Jeff Calley and Associates. Regarding the continuing, so we're happy to do that. We agree with Dave. We met beforehand, and we're happy to waive the notice provision to get us to August and see where that takes us. So I think we're in agreement on that.
So one meeting at a time then? We'll go to August, we'll table till August, and then
Yes,
we'll
I think
take it
that's
one meeting
probably-
at a time?
Yeah, I think that's probably the cleanest way to
Okay,
do this.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Chair, if you would like your motion, I move to table Planning Board Case Number 26-3 to our August 27th, 2026 meeting here in the Novak Room at 7 PM.
Second?
Who seconded?
John?
John, oh,
Second.
thank you. Sam? All right. Oh, John's, okay, we have a second. I think a voice vote, is that satisfactory? So,
can't.
excuse
We
me?
have to do a roll call vote because John's not in the room.
I see, okay.
Sorry,
So-
all our votes have to be that way.
Let's start with you, Sam.
Affirmative, yes.
Yes?
Aye.
Aye,
Yes.
and that's it for now. Oh, John,
Yes.
okay. Unanimous vote, so motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we'll see
Thank you.
you folks again.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you all again.
Part of the family.
Just stopping by.
Nice to see that spirit in the town.
Okay.
Have a nice summer.
You as well.
I'll take advantage of this for this moment for a commercial. Our next meeting, we don't meet the second time in July, that's our vacation. But our first meeting in August is the capital improvement plan. It's a meeting where the town, the department heads will be here explaining what their needs are over the next 5 years and the projection. It's really the beginning of the budget making process. So if anybody's interested, you can always watch it, but if you'd like to hear it in living color and see the department's plans for the future and how they sort of try to balance out the costs across the town from department to department, it's very interesting.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm not sure if there's something with your mic but the people in the back can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
So if we can maybe,
Testing 1, 2.
No.
Hello?
not that loud.
Well,
Is mine any?
John, is your microphone working?
No, I really don't. I don't have much of a voice.
How about this one any better? No? Okay.
Since I'm in the town, someone use this one.
He can hear us, so if there's anything they
Yep,
can do.
okay.
You know,
Try
like
that.
you
Try this
try that one.
Hey, Len.
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Hello? Bush?
Yeah, not in here.
It's a little better.
Hello?
Yeah,
Must be
okay.
me. All right,
Okay, that's the
Speak
best
up.
we can do, sorry.
all right.
Lang, one
Next-
question.
Yes. Oops,
You
John?
said we were going on vacation in July. I was just wondering where.
I thought you were going to make those arrangements, John. Okay, new business, we have application of Jones and Beach on behalf of Green and Company for a design review of a proposed 14-lot residential cluster subdivision consisting of single-family homes on the 10.1 acre parcel of Exeter Country Club property that currently serves as a driving range. It's on tax map 52 lot 1 and is planning board case number 26-212. And Dave, do you have something to begin with?
I do, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
The applicant, as you stated, has submitted for design review for a residential subdivision of land located at the Exeter Country Club and specifically in the area where the existing driving range is located. Please note that this is only a design review application. It is not a formal application to the board. Design review is covered under a separate RSA 676-4, and I attached the relevant portion of the law for your reference. In the statute, it allows the planning board and the applicant to engage in non-binding discussion of the proposal at this stage. Abutters have been notified in this meeting in accordance with the statute. It is a public meeting, it is not a public hearing, so the board can decide, how you want to run this meeting and do you want to hear from folks and so forth. So it's only a public meeting, it's a design review, it's non-binding. No formal votes are taken. The only vote that could be taken at the end is if you decide that the design review period has ended, I would suggest you vote and state that the design review period was ended, and then they would come back and at that time would be submit for a formal application where we would hold a public hearing and the normal process of any other formal application. Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Whoops. Oh, excuse me, yeah. Jen snuck in here, I didn't see you. So she's with us now. Thank you, Jen, good welcome. We're doing the first new hearing,
Okay, thanks.
of course, yeah. Excuse me, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Paige Libby with Jones and Beach Engineers here on behalf of the applicant, Green and Company. Michael Green is also with me tonight, as well as John O'Neill. So again, for the record, we are here for a design review. This property is map 52 lot 1. It is the Exeter Country Club. So the plans that we submitted actually are only a very small portion of the country club property. The overall property is close to 73 acres. This is a 10-acre property that is located at the end of sort of this dead-end stub of J.D. Hill Road. It is currently the driving range. About half of it is wooded and about half of it is cleared and is the driving range. I thought somebody said something, sorry. So the property sort of sloped from west to east down towards the Squamscott River. There is a wetland complex about halfway down the property, just behind the driving range, that drains down toward the river. And that sort of separates the driving range from an area that serves as the tee box for one of the golf holes, which is adjacent to the river. We have submitted a conceptual plan, so this is a real survey, but a conceptual plan at this time. The first sheet is the yield plan, so we've done a conventional subdivision plan. This is in the R2 zone. And then we have also submitted a cluster subdivision plan, which is what we are proposing. So the yield plan yielded 14 lots. We're proposing 14 lots. And the road would be about 1,000 feet coming off of the end of J.D. Hill Road, just here. So this portion of J.D. Hill Road actually kind of curves toward Webster Ave, and then this section is very narrow. It's almost like a dead end, just for a couple of lots. So what we're proposing to do is to widen that section of road and then come off of it with a loop. So our section of the road will be about 1,000 feet, a little bit more. That section is only about 100 feet, so in total it'll be about 1,100 feet with the addition of the widened section of road and our proposed road. There's a chain link fence that is along J.D. Hill Ave that will need to be relocated in order to widen that section of road, as well as some trees in that area that will need to be cleared in order to widen the road. and there also is some power in that location that will need to be relocated. And we do plan to propose new landscaping, which will be on the country club side of the property. The proposed subdivision really only goes up until just about where the wetland buffer is. So this entirety of the remainder will be open space. We do have an easement proposed over the tee box for the golf hole there so that the country club can continue to use it afterward, and it will still be part of the open space. A couple things that we've worked on since we submitted this plan. The proposed lots, which were lots 12, 13, and 14, showed going over what is currently the cart path for the golf course. We've actually worked since then with the golf course, and we're going to leave the cart path in place. So the road will be shifted just slightly over from where it's shown, but a very minor difference from what we will end up submitting for the full subdivision application and what you see here. And then the second thing we've been working on is looking at how to connect to sewer. So there is sewer along Webster Road, but the closest point to connect is actually very shallow. We've had some preliminary meetings with DPW in order to evaluate how to connect to sewer. And something that's interesting is there is a property right here that is actually owned by the town of Exeter. And we're evaluating how we could possibly connect to sewer through that, which will need to be worked out with the select board. I think that's all we have for our presentation, so we can answer any questions that you might have.
The golf cart road, will that be separate property, or is that going to be part of the lots? It's kind of shown there.
Did you say the golf cart path?
Yes, the path for the golf cart, to go down across, yeah.
Yeah, so that path will not be part of the lots. It's shown as part of the lots on this plan, but that's something that we'll revise in the revised version.
So that'll be the front of those properties?
Exactly, it'll be in the back of those properties.
The back, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all right, yeah, backyard, sorry.
Yep, so the frontage will be, the houses will all face
Yes,
this way.
yes, yeah. Comments, questions?
Just a question, what is the distance from where J.D. Hill Avenue meets Webster
That is
Avenue
just
to
about
the end, to the beginning of the cul-de-sac?
to,
So from the junction of J.D. Hill
here.
and Webster to right about there.
let me just check
Can you-
that. To measure that quickly.
Sorry.
It's just about 500 feet. A little less than 500 feet.
So the 1,100 more or less length roadway, you're including the whole loop?
Correct.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, thank you.
Would that be a continuation of J.D. Hill, or are you going to give it a different name?
That is something we'll have to discuss with the TRC, and I would think would be up to the town.
Yeah.
It makes sense for maybe it to be a continuation of J.D. Hill, but it could also be a separate road.
So it's not a private road?
No, this would be a town road.
It's going to be 24 feet wide?
Correct.
And you're going to upgrade down to Webster Ave?
Correct.
What's the width of J.D. Hill on the other side of Webster Ave?
It looks like it's actually a little bit wider than what the requirement is.
It's a hodgepodge there.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, it should be all
There's a
made
river
consistent.
there.
Yeah, it
Whatever
looks
we're
like
talking
it's
about
about
here.
30 feet wide. Actually, a little more than 30 feet wide.
Yeah.
There's almost this kind of pull off in that section.
Yeah.
And then it comes around the power and then narrows.
Anything else?
Question?
So,
Yeah, question, John?
Yep. If I remember when we met out there a year ago and about rebuilding the clubhouse, there's some water issues in this, if I've got the right piece of land here next to it.
Yes.
So I haven't been out there in a long time, and I don't know if you did anything. Is there a new clubhouse, or that's still going to be happening?
I don't, is the new clubhouse going to happen? And I'm not sure that that's associated with this, but
It's sort of
Well, no,
separate.
but
But our understanding is that that is their eventual goal, is to construct the clubhouse.
But I think there's some issues they were going to deal with that we need to take that into account with what you're doing here, or you need to take it into account.
I think it's improved somewhat, but right where that is a hospital. It really gets,
I don't think anything's been done up there since we reviewed
that was going to be resolved,
with the
but it
development.
hasn't resolved completely, I
No.
don't think.
So I guess just focusing on this application, I had a similar question about, like, I'm seeing a proposed drainage easement on the north side of the site. I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how the drainage would work for this new development.
Yeah, so we haven't done the drainage yet. We're still evaluating that. We did reserve that that was something that we agreed to with the country club, just in case we need it for drainage, but we're not quite sure yet if that will even be needed.
Okay.
That's something that we're currently evaluating as we prepare the full subdivision application. But it's likely that, we'll have a couple of drainage ponds adjacent to, behind the lots, basically.
Yeah, so I think that's something, if you're looking for comment, that was a big discussion item when we were looking at the country club, so I'm assuming that will continue to be.
Yeah, and that's something that we did discuss with DPW as well, just because obviously with extending basically JD Hill Road and kind of tying into that stub of JD Hill Road, we'll have to kind of evaluate how that drainage will impact our drainage, because it will likely start to come down our road, so we'll need to include that in our analysis.
And am I reading this right? Like, the currently laid out cluster subdivision really wouldn't impact any of the wetland buffers? Is that correct?
That's correct. The only thing that may is if we do end up connecting to that lot that the town owns for sewer, there may be a very small wetland crossing. That wetland there is only about 20 feet wide, so it would be a very, very minimal impact to cross that with the sewer.
Okay.
Correct, yep.
Where's the sewer that you want? Can you just explain that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's not actually, let me switch back to the existing conditions plan. So the sewer, the highest point of the sewer is here. The property is all sloped this way, as is Webster Ave. And then there's a sewer manhole that's way down, sort of off the edge of pavement there, that's much deeper. And so in order for us to tie into sewer via gravity, it would be better for us to come to one of those manholes versus come basically uphill and then tie into the highest point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
So that
advantage
basically it helps us avoid having to put in a pump station.
Okay.
Take advantage of the lay of the land. Anyone else?
Can you describe what type of architecture and the size of home you're envisioning?
Can you speak to that?
Not at this point.
Yeah, we don't have any plan for it at this point.
Yeah, we haven't finalized that.
Are these single family or is it condominium type?
They would be single-family lots.
Do you know if it would be planned for a single car garage or two-car garage? That's still up in the air.
Yeah, still to be decided.
Well, I hear Aaron saying, why don't we open to the public? So anybody in the public have some questions or comments? Please step to the podium, microphone, and let us know what you're thinking about, any suggestions or questions you may have for clarity or, yes. Would you please step over to the microphone? Oh, that's fine.
Use this one?
Sure.
Dave's going to share his, yep.
It's easier.
And introduce yourself, please.
My name is Janet Marati, and I live on JD Hill Ave.
Okay,
And I have a letter that I wrote. If I could read that, would that be acceptable?
Certainly.
Thank you. So good evening. As I said, my name is Janet Marati. My husband and I live.
Could you hold the microphone up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Thank you.
I'm usually pretty loud.
Our
Does this work?
people at home watching the show want to know who they're throwing popcorn at.
Is this okay?
Yeah, fine.
So my husband and I live at 79 JD Hill Ave. As JD Hill Ave, as they keep referring to it as JD Hill Road, it's not. It's JD Hill Ave.
Oh, thank you.
And we live in a modest home. We've lived there since 1997. And we love the neighborhood. It's a great neighborhood. And I know that there's been other concerns. I know that letters have been sent and there's been other concerns, and I fully share those concerns that have already been voiced, including traffic, water usage, and drainage. But I have concerns that would affect my property and my close neighbor's property badly. We live directly across from the golf course and right next to the driving range. In the summary presented by Jones and Beach, the need to widen the road is addressed in only one brief sentence, and I would like to explain what that entails. It requires moving 2 utility poles, a fire hydrant, a storm drain, several large mature trees, and other vegetation, which is especially concerning to me. In addition to helping with drainage and erosion, those trees and vegetation provide an important buffer between our homes and the golf course. The golf course currently has a very inadequate safety net. It's poorly maintained, and golf balls regularly land on our property, which is, I guess, to be expected somewhat. If all those things are removed, we will be sitting ducks. There will be absolutely no protection for our property and even personal injury. And this is a very real concern, and I respectfully ask the board to give serious consideration to the concerns raised by the residents of JD Hill Ave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And another abutter.
You can step over to the table and borrow this microphone. That's easier.
Can I? No. I just have, Gail gave me a letter. One of the abutters who wasn't able to attend gave me a letter. Can I read it and then present it to you?
Sure.
We are Gail and Leon Morse, abutters at 73 JD Hill Ave, not able to attend the meeting. Proposal needs to be rewritten to tell us how the road will be widened. One side of the road has large old trees, 2 telephone poles, fire hydrant, plus a storm drain. The other side has 2 homes. That part of JD Hill Ave is about 15 feet wide. A standard 2-lane road in the United States is 30 feet. How much in expenses will Exeter taxpayers absorb for this project? Have there been any calculations on water usage for 14 single-family homes? And will swimming pools be allowed in the development? Back in 2020, our water ban lasted until late November. With the lint factory and Stratum increased usage, how long will our water ban last this year? And then she says, I read that the club will keep the same path for golf carts. Just today, 3 golf carts went by my home this morning on a public road, plus by 5 other homes on JD Hill Ave. In the summer, this is a daily occurrence. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along.
This one?
Sure.
I don't want to sit. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, great. So hello, my name is Maria Karski-Joe George. I live at 77 JD Hill Ave with my husband and my 3-year-old that we had to bring here. Sorry. And I'm speaking today on behalf of families at 71 JD Hill, 1 Webster, and 14 Webster Ave, as well as myself. We're tired. We're not sure if you're familiar with the road, but we just finished up a 2-year-plus water pump and sewer main upgrade that was kind of a mess. So to hear about more construction in our area really shook us up. Tonight, however, we're here to speak about the proposed development at the end of JD Hill.
I'm not sure why, but I had prepared a letter on the 29th to go out with the packets, and it wasn't included. I do have copies of the letter that I'm happy to share with you all tonight if you'd like to take one home. I also have images, like actual front view images of that small stub, I think it was referred to as, at the end of JD Hill, which serves as kind of our front yard or road in front of our house. I won't read the entire letter. I'm sure you're all capable of doing that, but I do want to highlight a few points of concern that are very similar to Janet's. The first one is traffic. We have a very quiet little neighborhood, but we do deal with our fair share of traffic concerns already, despite being on the intersection of two dead-end roads. Most of this traffic comes from our little corner being the official turnaround spot for the Exeter Country Club members who forget that there's no outlet. But that also comes with their speeding and sometimes intoxicated driving, which has been a concern to a lot of the families that live in the area. Adding 14 new houses will also increase the traffic and decrease the safety of that small neighborhood that's filled with young children. So we encourage that if the town does want to proceed with such development, that there's at least a traffic study done in the area and assess a way to increase security in that area in terms of speed and like basic direction signs or something. The second and also very important point is the loss of vegetation, or that buffer strip between the Exeter Country Club and my home and Janet's home. In order to expand the road, like Janet mentioned, wide enough to create a two-lane road, we'd have to eliminate a lot of the vegetation that currently stands there. Like Janet mentioned, there is a poorly maintained net. I think it worked well the first year, and then it was never fixed after that. So we're constantly dealing with golf balls hitting our home and landing in our yard, which of course is expected living on a golf course, but we're just not sure that removing all of that vegetation will at all help the situation. There's also an amount of some 100-plus-year-old trees that have been registered by one of our neighbors, and so we'd like to make sure that that is taken into account. That's like the only shade source on that little street, and so we'd want to make sure that we're protecting our greenery and the small amount of green space that we have left here in Exeter as the design for the plan continues. I just want to close by saying I'm not personally opposed to development in the town of Exeter. I'm actually very supportive of affordable workforce development to create more opportunities for New Hampshire families to be able to enjoy this wonderful community that we get to enjoy. I support thoughtful efforts to plan and design family-friendly communities for all of us. But this is not that. This is simply an attempt, in my opinion, for Exeter Country Club to find an easy way to get the money they need for the renovation that we talked about just a little over a year ago. So I don't think $1.2 million homes, that's the number that's being thrown around anecdotally by, I believe, some of the developers, is what our neighborhood needs. So I ask that the board consider the design and the necessity of such a neighborhood in this very small area. That's it.
Thank you very much.
If you have a letter, just, can you give a copy to Mr. Staples? Absolutely. And you can make sure you have it?
No, I do, but I do want to add that this is a non-binding design review discussion, and anything I get here will be part of that record, and only that record. When you do a formal submission, I would say, submit those letters again.
Don't worry,
because
I'll write
they'll be
another
part of
one.
the official letter. Okay, just making sure everyone knew that.
Yeah, you can resubmit,
Yep.
that's it. Thank you. Good point, I forgot that part, thank you.
Anyone else? Any more concerns on the board's part?
I just have one more comment.
Yeah, sure.
I think that was kind of sparked by some of the comments from the public. Just that, we do have requirements to survey existing trees.
Yes.
Over a certain caliber.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of times we get packets that don't have that marked, so I just want to say that ahead of time, that we do expect a survey of existing trees over a certain caliber.
Yes.
It's listed in the regs.
I remember that, so we
Is it
do have
18?
that.
20.
20, okay.
I thought it was 16. But
No, it's 20.
Yeah, 16.
It used to be 16.
even better.
Yeah, it's better.
It's 20 now.
Bigger.
Yeah, we will include that in the
Thank you.
packet.
Yeah, it's just I'm looking at Street View, and it does look like there's some pretty big trees out there, so it'd be
Yes.
good to know what.
Yeah, this
What's there and what has to come
But
down.
we do have the trees located.
Great, thank you.
Go ahead.
One more thing that from the comments I thought of, if regarding traffic concerns and speed and volume and stuff, is it in this design reasonable to have traffic calming recommended, or is that up to the town to work on?
Well, the board could ask for a traffic study,
Yeah.
or they could prepare one. I'm not sure what happens, but,
Okay.
yeah. So it's not our nickel, it's their nickel. I would say too, just to help you move down, as we move down the road, when we come back with a formal application, more than likely this board will do a site walk. We do that. We like to see what's happening where. And we've been to some of that before, but that's a public meeting and you'll hear about it at that time. And so keep that in your mind as you're trying to see what's happening out there. It is an interesting situation right at that intersection, and it will be a challenge, but I would say that there are probably some answers there in that process. So, anything else, or are we done?
I don't know if there are more people.
Any more people want to say anything? I don't want to cut you short, but we don't want to stay here all night.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Talking about the trees, and if you're widening the road, having to cut down trees in order to do that, and planting new trees, will you now be not on your property? I mean, will the golf course be the property that would be getting?
Yeah, so they
you're
would
cutting them down, but you cutting them down because you need the room. Now, to plant new trees, it won't be on your property, and
Right.
that is a problem.
Yeah, they would be on the country club property.
Yeah, so we need to figure something out
Yep.
with that.
Well, the country club has some interest in this project.
Yeah, oh, I know
So,
that.
yeah.
So but I just want to know that can be done.
And just to follow up on that, I mean, if we're talking about things that are gonna have to happen with someone else's property, do you have a tree easement? Is there such a thing? Right? I mean, if you're cutting down a tree that's on this property, and they're gonna replant, and if it's on the golf course property, how does that
That's what I know.
How does that happen? I mean, yes, they have an interest in letting them do it, but
Yeah.
if it's part of a condition, can we really put a condition on it?
They're like two separate
It's
properties.
two separate properties. Unless- Is there such thing as a tree easement?
Well, currently the property's all one property.
Yeah, it's all owned by
But
the
at
golf
some
course
point-
right now.
But at some point it won't.
It won't be, right?
It won't be.
That's after approval.
So she's saying to,
I'll look into it.
Thank you.
I understand the question. I think
Okay.
we discussed it too internally. so
Yes,
I'll-
thank you.
I'll get
Yep.
you an answer.
Yep.
Okay, appreciate it.
In looking at the yield plan, I have some issues with Lot 8, which the house, like everything is in the buffer. There's just a tiny little sliver, unless I'm reading it wrong. There's a tiny sliver near the cul-de-sac itself that isn't in the buffer.
so there's a
Not in yield,
section-
yeah, on Lot 8, okay, which is,
Yeah, so lots 8 and 9
Yeah.
have their buildable area beyond the wetland. So those two lots, if they were constructed, would require a wetland crossing. But it's a little confusing because there's some state buffers shown, but there is a buildable envelope here that is outside of those buffers. as
are
well
you
as-
going to show that on? But those are in the, aren't those in, God, I can't see very well.
8 and 9 look like
They
they're
look
on the
like
circle.
they're, I mean, I kind of have trouble with 7, 8, and 9, but, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, so they have their frontage on the circle, to Elaine's point.
Yeah.
But then the buildable envelope would be towards the back of the lots. So there's all this area that's outside of the buffer on the rear part of the lot that we're not proposing to develop in the cluster subdivision proposal.
But How would those be accessed?
Yeah.
The
They
houses?
would be accessed via a driveway that would cross that narrow strip of wetland.
Oh, I see the, yeah,
So that seems like kind of a stretch to me.
Yeah.
Typically, I mean, it would be the same type of a crossing that we'd be proposing for the, say, the sewer. So it would realistically be a similar amount of impact as what we're proposing for the sewer in the proposed condition for the cluster subdivision.
Well, not crazy about that, but. I mean, I guess if that's what you're planning on proposing to do, I don't know if the rest of the board feels the same way as I do. If we have problems with those lots and that would force you to put the houses further west or further east, I guess that should be done on the yield plan. I guess we should be shown that.
Showing the wetland crossing?
Yeah, I guess.
We can do that.
I don't know what Conservation Commission would think about that. Do you have to go back to them?
We will have to go to them when we come in for the full application for the conditional use permit if we do end up tying into sewer and having that impact to the buffer and the wetland.
All right. Okay.
So just as a reminder, because it's been a while since we've gotten a yield plan. So we have to approve the yield plan before we can even look at the...
I mean, it has to be reasonable. We have to, I mean, if there are lots, if there are lots that we're not comfortable with, that seem illogical, or if they push the limit a little bit too much, then I think we can raise concerns about that.
Okay.
Because this is the foundation for what they do
yeah.
in the
Right.
in the final plan.
But is it an actual vote that we say it's, I'm thinking about the process.
About the
Is there a vote, we approve 14 lots or 12 lots or 13 lots or?
It's been a while.
I should know, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that.
It's been a while since we've done one.
Rose Farm, I think. was
Rose
the
Farm,
last
yeah.
one that did this.
Yeah, and I remember we spent weeks, several meetings on just the yield plan before we even got to the actual plan.
What it says is, we did do, okay, I'll just read it to you. The dwelling unit density shall be determined using a yield plan, which shall be provided by the applicant and reviewed and accepted by the planning board prior to proposing the open space plan. So you have to accept it, whether, that approval, acceptance, one or the other. You have to say it's okay. Because at some point, you have to know the number of lots that's proposing before you move on.
Yes.
I mean, they can submit it simultaneously. We let them do it simultaneously, but you always review that first.
Yeah.
And then accept that, and then you can move on.
Yeah.
If you don't accept it, you accept something different, well, then they got to come up with a plan that's commensurate with what you decided, or if you accept it, you can just, as presented, then you can just move on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Not tonight, though.
No, not tonight. I'm thinking about the process and how the applicant might prep for that. I think that, I sort of agree with Gwen that I think especially Lot 8 would be very problematic. And I think it would be helpful to see where the actual wetland crossing would be in that scenario.
Most of the lots have a,
We'll provide that for you.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Right now, you're speculating. We'll
Yeah.
provide that. It'll be very clear.
yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
That would be very helpful. Anything else? And do I need a motion to complete the discussion, or just say,
If you feel like it's been done, then you do. What I didn't catch in my memo is I usually provide a design review motion, but so you would say, I move that the design review for Jones and Beach on behalf of Green and Company for design review, PB case number 26-3 is concluded, you can say that, or is tabled until a date certain.
Or I can say so moved as our town
Well, you
planner
could say
just
so
said.
moved as, well, you gotta decide.
We
Is
gotta
it,
decide.
has
Right,
design
right, but
review
I don't have to
concluded?
repeat everything you just said.
Correct.
If I do have to write it really
Yeah.
quickly. Okay, thank you.
Have you got a motion?
I'm going to do exactly what I
Yes,
just said I was
please.
going to do, but are there any more questions?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Did we determine which one?
Yeah, he didn't.
Did you, well, the,
Good dates,
the-
sir.
whoever
He didn't
moved.
specify whether
You
it was
wanna,
completed or-
is the design review concluded, do you feel?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So I move that the design review for planning board case number
26-3.
2612.
2612.
Oh, it says 26-3 in my motion.
2612 or 20?
It's 2612.
It's 26-12, yes.
Okay. Different on the bottom.
Is complete. Is that
Seconded.
good enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
John, do you second me?
John seconded it. Yep.
I second that, yes.
Okay. Voice vote, okay? No?
We have to roll call everything
again,
tonight.
Okay. Well, let's go the other direction. We'll start with Marty.
Yes.
No, John should be doing,
John's
he's
not
the
here
clerk.
yet. We'll get John in a minute. Jen?
Yes.
John?
Where are you starting? Okay.
Yeah,
Marty
it's
should
John,
be
John as the
Jen
clerk
now.
does it. Does the roll call.
Oh, John has to
Yeah.
roll call. Oh, you've got a
Yeah,
job to do, John.
I can't see everyone and what the order
Why?
is, so that's all.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Process,
Empty
sorry.
room. No, where's this?
So we
Hi.
got Marty and Jen. Is that correct?
Yep.
Hey, you.
Keep going.
Okay. And then let's go to Nancy. And
Yes.
Aaron's not here. Lang,
Yes?
Dean and Sam.
Yes.
Dean's not acting tonight.
Oh, okay, Sam, I'm sorry.
Got it.
And
We're
Gwen.
done.
Yes.
That's it.
Gwen.
And me, yes. I vote yes as well.
Okay. Any,
Right, any no's or,
any noes or any abstentions? Not then, the motion passes. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. It's always a good thing to come in beforehand.
I need a clip. I found it.
Goodness.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's see.
I don't have any printed ones. So agenda minutes. Scroll down to this meeting, it says packet.
This one?
Opens up as one PDF.
Oh, no, I thought, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have to, yeah.
That next?
Dave, the agenda that I got with my packet has the planning board case 26-13 listed as the next item.
Yes, Newman Sullivan.
Site plan review.
No, it's a wetlands
Oh, that's
conditional
July
use
9th.
permit.
Wrong night, excuse me.
July 9th is tonight.
It is. It's a CUP.
Okay,
It's a CUP. It's 2613, or that's what I have anyway.
okay.
On 2613, application of Beals Associates on behalf of Liam Newen and Megan Sullivan for a wetlands conditional use permit. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Case number
26.
2613.
2613, okay. All right. Application of Liam Newman and Megan Sullivan for a wetland conditional use permit and minimum impact wetland permit to construct a driveway and associated culvert to a proposed single-family home on an existing lot of record at 18 Oaklands Road. Tax mappy. 11 Lot 3, Application also requests an amendment to the designated prime wetland boundary. Planning Board case number 26-13, is that ready to be heard?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Somebody like to open this case?
Move to open case number 26-13.
Second.
Second? Yeah. All right. John's going to do this?
He
Because
doesn't, he
he's not
can't
here
see us, so is it possible for you to, so he can see us? I don't think he can see us,
You
but
can't see when the plan's up?
I believe that was what happened the last time.
You don't?
Thank you.
You bet.
It doesn't matter if he's on the screen, he can only see what the TV sees.
So why couldn't you see us before?
got it.
Oh,
Because I
because
didn't
you
have the
weren't,
camera on
okay.
you, yeah.
Thank you for
I
clarifying.
wonder why the camera wouldn't.
It's okay, we've got it, so as long as he
Not
can
an
see.
IT guy, Nancy, you know
Yes,
that.
thank you.
Roll call again, please.
Here we go, John.
Roll call for accepting this case.
All right, which way do we want to go? Who's first?
It's your choice.
All right. It is hard to see. Give me 1 second, I actually wrote them down, so. And we'll start with Gwen.
Aye.
Then Nancy?
Yes.
Sam, since we're going that way, there's no one else. Sam? Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yep. Jen Martell,
Yes.
Marty Kennedy.
Yes.
And yourself?
Who did I forget?
You.
And myself.
Yeah.
Me. I'll say yes.
Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, John.
Now,
Yes, thank you, John.
Dave, you got a
Anytime.
few comments to start this case, please.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just briefly, this is as you said, it's an application for a wetlands conditional use permit. It's not a subdivision, it's not a site plan. It's simply for a conditional wetlands conditional use permit, which the applicant will describe on what that is. The Conservation Commission held a site walk and discussed the application at their June 9th meeting. The planning board cannot act on a conditional use permit until they receive written recommendations from the Conservation Commission in accordance with the regulations. The Conservation Commission did recommend approval of the request with 3 conditions outlined in the enclosed letter that, with my memorandum dated July 18th, 2026, from Kristen Murphy on behalf of the Conservation Commission. I will mention those, I will list those 3 proposed conditions for your review. 1, a deed restriction be placed on the back portion of the lot as presented by the applicant's representative. 2, the planning board be provided with a limit of clearing plan showing all potential lawn, garden, or other cleared portions of the lot the homeowner is planning to develop, and those areas are all located outside of the wetland buffers. And 3, a maintenance plan for the culvert is provided. The 2 kind of ask for, limits, a clearing plan and a maintenance plan. I don't know what they passed out. They can explain that. I haven't seen that in the packet, but I don't know.
It's not in the packet.
Yeah, it wasn't in the
You have
packet,
one
but
from
I'm
us?
sure the applicant will address whether they, what they do to satisfy that.
I can't see it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
It's your turn, sir.
Good evening,
Welcome
Mr.
back, by the way.
Christian Smith, engineer with Beals Associates, representing the applicant on the project. Sergio Bonilla is here from Mission Environmental, who did the wetland delineation, as well as the buffer enhancement plan, and will be filing the state DES Wetlands Bureau plan. Also in the audience with us tonight is Megan Sullivan and Liam Newman, as well as Tammy Newman. As you can guess, they might be related. In any event. So what the applicant is proposing, we've got a 13.71 acre parcel located at 18 Oaklands Road, and essentially this is just going to consist of a single-family residence with a driveway and a small wetland crossing. Obviously, all the utilities will be underground, on-lot septic system, and a water well. The driveway has to cross the wetland to get to this large upland. pocket within the property. And as Mr. Sharples mentioned, we have been to the Conservation Commission. The plan that I just handed out to everybody is basically a larger site plan that does not show the road profile, but does show a couple of the things in our conditions from the Conservation Commission. I wanted to get that before the board so that you can see we've already addressed those. With that, Mr. Chairman, could I put the plan back up on the screen?
Okay, sure.
All right. And Sergio can take over once I get there and give you a little insight. Everybody good if I skip through the existing conditions plan from the surveyor and get to the meat and potatoes of this proposal? We can always go back to them if we need to.
Sure.
Sorry, Joe. So what I've put up there is the actual profile plan so that you can see we do hold as tightly as possible to the existing grade with the proposed driveway. And the two small areas of wetland encroachment are in this location. And then again, a small crossing here under which we are proposing a high-density polyethylene culvert with outlet protection. And it is a very small watershed that drains to that culvert, which is why we went with 12-inch. It's going to more than adequately handle, 15-inch. It's going to more than adequately handle whatever potential stormwater could get there under a 50-year storm. You can see the actual end of the wetland is right in this location that drains in that direction. Out here, just in this location, is the prime wetland. These are just freshwater wetlands that are not designated prime. Sergio has spent some time out in the field with Evan Lewis from the Department of Environmental Services to deal with that. Part of our application to the Conservation Commission was also amending the town GIS map prime wetland to actual field located prime wetland based on the DES's input. You can see there's a fairly robust proposal for buffer plantings as well as enhancements such as large boulders. And there are some...
There's some shrubs, yeah.
Shrubs, yeah, okay.
Nest boxes, boulder
and Sergio can go further into that, but I just wanted to get you kind of comfortable with the lay of the land here. So here's the proposed house, proposed septic system. All of those features and including the tree line are outside of any of the 100-foot, 125-foot prime wetland setback. And we have as minimal impact to the 40-foot buffer and the 75-foot buffer as the property allows. By and large, that is the proposal. And as I said, Sergio, did you want to go through some of the enhancements?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for your time. Sergio Bonilla with Mission Wetlands. So I did the delineation for this site back in '22 for a different, I think at the time, different owner. So the Newmans purchased this parcel. It's a young family, trying to start a family. So a young family, Seacoast family, want to stay local. When I first got involved with them, indicated the constraints as far as the narrow forested wetland that's located along the front of the 30-foot right-of-way, and that we'd have to give back. So they were very open. They were very sensitive to the forested wetland resources, and I worked with them to come up with a generous buffer enhancement plan to offset. There's about 8,500 square feet of buffer impact within that narrow green line. So what I've done in the past, actually in Exeter with the boulders at Riverwoods, is we put together a pretty robust buffer enhancement program to offset those temporary impacts, and obviously, hopefully, to invite some more, in the context of them having their home, to try to give back to the buffer any wildlife habitat capacity in the form of structure and and plant diversity, because it's a forested wetland, it's your frequently encountered forested wetland with eastern hemlock and red maple trees with a very, very sparse understory. So to that end, I proposed a number of shrubs, shade-tolerant shrubs, and also boulder piles and nest boxes to try to enhance the food chain dynamics around that edge of the wetland crossing. So basically, the idea was to offset, they were very, very generous about kind of doubling the ratio of buffer enhancements for the buffer impacts that are proposed. I've had good luck at boulders at Riverwoods with nest boxes and with boulder piles. So to that end, they were very open to that, and that's about the size of it. Look at the narrow configuration of the of the forested wetland located higher in the watershed, as Christian said. It's a very narrow, topographically confined saddle, and even up in the upper portion where the proposed crossing is, very narrow, poorly drained, not very poorly drained, sparse understory, an area, the most narrowest, the narrowest location of that forested wetland. We're staying out of the prime wetland buffer by the 125 foot by septic. What I did with Evan is just let him know that we'd like to ground truth that. It's amending the map on the GIS map, basically ground truthing what is a desktop generated data feature that was created, I think, in 1983, reaffirmed by Mr. Mark West in 2002. There's been about 60 years of natural succession that's occurred in that very poorly drained portion of that wetland, which is where I drew the line based on soil drainage classification, vegetation cover type, completely different vegetation cover type than the eastern hemlock red maple poorly drained wetland that we're crossing. Habitat features, we look for habitat features. There's no exemplary communities back there, no Atlantic white cedar swamps, no swamp white oak wetlands out there. So I visited the site with Evan and with the Conservation Commission. They were in agreement with where I drew that project relevant prime wetland boundary. So we can honor that 125 with the septic. And as Christian noted, we've accommodated all the 3 comments from the Concom.
And I'll just flip, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, to the next plan. And what they had requested or asked us to contemplate was area outside of the building envelope and, the area that they actually want to use for their house, lawn, et cetera. Would they consider putting a deed restriction and putting the rest of that in conservation? And that's what you can see we delineated in the kind of dark blue line here, right to that property corner. They also requested that we put the limit of clearing for this project, as well as the driveway. That has been added, and then the final piece that they wanted, which is very difficult to read at this scale, but that is, if you squint really hard, that is the culvert maintenance standard alteration of terrain culvert.
So,
That's what they all say.
that, because I tried using my phone and other means to read that, and if it's part of the record, what we're seeing is what you handed out, correct?
It is.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I can zoom in.
You want me to read it?
If you can read
Okay,
it,
yeah.
please.
It says culvert inspection and maintenance procedures. Number 1, inspect culverts 2 times per year, preferably in spring or fall, to ensure that the culverts are working in their intended fashion and that they are free of debris. Number 2, remove any obstructions to flow, remove accumulated sediments and debris at the inlet, at the outlet, and within the conduit, and to repair any erosion damage at the culvert's inlet and outlet. And finally, 3, repair, replace culvert if it becomes crushed or deteriorated.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I apologize.
The font's a little too small there. Okay.
Yeah, I don't contemplate that we're going to be reducing these down to 11 by 17s, but anyway. And as I mentioned, that is basically the standard culvert inspection and maintenance language that we use on every alteration of terrain permit that we do.
Good to have it in the record. Thank you.
And with that, we'll turn it over to the board.
Oh, that's nice of you.
May I just ask for clarification?
Yes,
Because when you said the deed restriction line is in the blue, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's outside everything outside is deed restricted. But then you have underneath it, it says CU line. Is that supposed to be cut line?
That is supposed to be cut. I just read that typographic error myself.
Okay.
My apologies.
And that is denoted in the green, symbol for like vegetation.
For the edge of trees, yes.
So that's where you're going to clear.
Correct.
Okay.
And the only reason I put that on there is because it merges at the 125-foot prime wetland setback.
Yeah, but that's what's going to be cut.
Correct.
And when we go out,
If you look
inspecting, do a
inside
CO for the building,
Yes.
that's going to be the extent of cut.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So the driveway is not an existing drive at all now?
Correct.
Okay. Questions? Yes?
What is the nature of the wetland? If we had a 100-year storm, like a monster storm, what would that wetland look like? Would there be standing water in it, or is it?
Which pocket of wetland are we talking about?
I'm thinking about the bigger wetland that you're going to be crossing.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
At that location, I'm not sure, Sergio. I'll let you take that.
It's a typically encountered forested wetland. It's on a slit,
It's on a
good grade. Like Christian said
contours.
before, there's really not much contributing watershed. It's it's poorly drained. It's a wetland, but it's very dry. I mean, this is a dry year, but when I flagged it, it was, the wetter portions, as I mentioned, are towards the rear of the parcel. And that's where you get the very poorly drained mineralistic soils. But again, nothing coming under that road, and it's the top of the watershed. I don't think, as Christian mentioned, with the 15-inch culvert, I don't think there's going to be any potential for.
I would agree. On a day-to-day basis, rainstorms like we got Monday, probably not going to see much water. We get a 100-year flood, the 9 or 10-inch rain event. I'm quite certain that will flow. And I'm also extremely confident that 15-inch culvert will handle what's going to arrive there.
Okay. That's what I worry about, because they're very isolated back there, and
exactly.
It would be frightening not to be able to get out. And
I was going to say there are two people in the audience who are probably going to have my head if that way is not.
And I guess I have a question for you. I know on Watson Road, we had a project that was similarly sloped, and I can't remember what the wetland in the very back looked like, but they did have signs of landing turtles. Have you
Very good
observed
question.
anything
because
here?
it's something I had to address. I have submitted the state application. There was some concern that there may be some, but during my ecological review, which is basically a culling of what I did for the dredge and fill, with some extra language, including the buffer enhancement program, they conditioned it. I'm sending that off back to Evan Lewis. Those revised plans, they conditioned it just to make sure that during certain times of the breeding season that they be very aware of what might be going on. I think if there's any blandings turtles or spotted turtles, as I indicated in the narrative, I think they'd be more associated with permanent wetlands that have permanent hydro period.
That's what
which this prime wetland in the back may have had at some time, but 60 years of natural succession, the water budget's definitely drawn down with mature trees growing there now. But they're very aware of the sensitivity. So I've addressed that. We've addressed that on a revised plan set that you guys can have a copy of as well. But it'll go to the state. But yeah, to answer your question, I've been through the ecological review process with NHDES, and they provided their comments.
Okay.
We're very sensitive to that.
They would probably be coming up onto the buildable area to nest, and I think that's what they do.
That's what some of the things I mentioned. There's really no exposed solar exposed to the open air, really sandy habitat nesting areas. But again, I've indicated to Liam and to Megan to be, they're probably going to address that at the state level, which they have. So we remain open and very sensitive to that.
Okay. And I love nest boxes, but I know that the ones at Riverwoods aren't I don't think they're maintained. A lot of them have fallen down, and I don't think they're ever cleaned.
Well, that was, you mean Boulders, it's 2009, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure.
been a long, yeah, so I don't know.
I usually
mean, it's a responsibility of the landowner to take care of those, so if.
We might have
folks
had a
are-
Boy Scout troop make them. I'm aging myself, this is 2007,
Well,
2008.
that's okay.
I think we had a Boy Scout troop to make them, so I'm not sure, I
Okay.
haven't been back there in ages.
Yeah, it's
but-
kind of unfortunate. I walk out there every day and I see kind of falling apart nest boxes. I don't know.
I'm sure for their
just
home,
for the
they'd be
residents.
they'd much more open to maintain
Yeah,
stuff like that
I'm
for
sure
homeowners. yeah.
it's a different story with homeowners, but,
Thank you, good question.
Yeah. Level cutting, driveway crossing, culvert, wetlands. Yeah, I think that's all I had at the moment.
And down the road there?
I was hoping you could walk us through the buffer planting. I'm not quite sure how to read this plan.
Buffer planting, so I did cull that down because that's a good question as well. What we have is 8 nest boxes for birds and small mammals.
Okay.
And we'll space them out throughout the, you can see if you, like, you can't really zoom in close on that.
Oh, all over the place. Yep.
No, where would you like me to
Just
zoom in
up,
around the
up by
crossing?
some of the legend for the nest boxes, the boulder piles, and the shrubs. And we've got 20 shrubs, shade tolerant shrubs, gray dogwood, and maple leaf viburnums, because it's such a shaded area that the canopy and the overstory is so dense with eastern hemlock and white pine, so.
So
The idea is, with
Yeah,
that,
what's the
along with the
idea?
wetland, or the wildlife conservation seed mix, is to invite more species diversity in the form of bees. The bees love the conservation seed mix. The butterflies like the conservation seed mix, the flowers, the butterflies.
So can you say where the conservation seed mix is going?
The seed mix will go in about the 14,800. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
So right around, this is the buffer enhancement, right here on these two sides here. So you see a boulder pile, you see a nest box, and these are shrub depictions. So we'll have 20 shrubs, we will have 8 nest boxes, and some boulder piles. The idea behind the boulder piles is to repurpose during grading activities, any of those large boulders. Be good for estivating mammals, estivating frogs, common snakes, and small mammals, nesting, excavating, cover, and foraging for that matter.
So I'm not sure why, what I don't understand, I guess, is all of that buffer area is not really in the area of disturbance.
Because we're trying to enhance that forested, that dense forested overstory, and enhance that buffer with species diversity. And
But why
habitat.
do we need to enhance it if we're not touching it?
As part of the mitigation proposal for the temporary impact.
Okay, so that's the mitigation for the wetland.
Okay.
Yeah, for the buffer.
Okay, I think that's the connection I
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm
making.
sorry, yeah.
Got it.
If I wasn't clear about that, I apologize. Yeah, they were very open to giving back, so.
They being the applicant?
The applicants,
Okay.
Liam and Megan.
Is that are there other, I guess to me, it's like, you've got this woodland that is probably doing a great job for habitat the way it is. So like, why do we need to like go disturb it and start spreading seed and planting new shrubs and putting, construction materials, boxes out there? Like,
No.
are there other mitigation opportunities that we're
There would be no
exploring?
large excavators that would have to go into that proposed buffer enhancement area. Only, I mean, this can be done with a small skid steer, if that. We'd scarify a little bit of the soil surface to promote a growing medium for the conservation seed mix, absolutely. But no heavy disturbance.
I'm wondering if there's any other mitigation opportunities that were explored and why this one was chosen.
Just for habitat structure, wildlife habitat structure, one of the main functions of that wetland.
Yeah, and as Sergio mentioned, Jen, there is not much understory there. It's a lot of big, tall trees and canopy.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to add some of those features, some of the other, the rocks and that type of thing, just to add some diversity of the ground cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I live nearby here, so I walk in the woods around here a lot, and not this particular woodland area, but like, I just can't imagine adding more stuff. Like, there's already a million rocks out there. There's like, like, my guess is it just sounds to me, it's like, well, we're gonna need to dispose of rocks, so.
No, that's
we'll
not the
put a
intention
call
at
at
all.
mitigation. I don't know, like
That's not the intention at all. No.
I'm not really, and we're not, I don't think we're really in charge of mitigation, of like reviewing mitigation, so I'm kind of just curious like about this, but
Just to add habitat
It's-
structure and components.
yeah, I'm just, I just feel like there's probably already plenty of habitat out there. It's not needed, but I don't know. I'm curious if the Conservation Commission like weighed in on that. I don't know.
They were,
I'm sort of,
please,
like, sort of on the fence.
Well,
I mean,
this
I
was on
haven't
the
seen
plan
it,
when we
so it's
visited
hard.
conservation.
Okay.
So they did see this, they thought it was a good idea, they did go out on a sidewalk with us.
I think like to me mitigation, like a strong mitigation plan would be like a restoration somewhere that needs to be restored, or banking, I don't know, like that's the kind of stuff I'm used to seeing when it
Yeah, and
comes to
I think
mitigation.
literally,
It's just like,
Jen, this is just adding habitat features
Yeah.
in the area of the disturbance.
yeah, I'm
of
just,
both
I'm
the buffer
wondering
and
like,
the process.
was the need for the habitat features, I guess, is what I question, like,
just to try to jumpstart the food chain dynamics, essentially. I've had-
but are they lacking? Are the
Well,
food chain dynamics
in the
lacking?
context of the impacts coming in and the buffer zone impacts associated with either side of the driveway.
I don't know.
Well, it would require some maintenance of some type or other.
Yeah. Yeah, those like how long are those
the nest
boxes gonna
You want
last?
to see how it's working.
What are they made out of? What are they?
Little trail out through there, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I put some, did I put the schematics in? I have schematics, if I can provide those as well.
I think all that we've got in the final page is the fishing game or the
Yeah.
environmental stuff.
Any questions, Marty?
No questions.
Be quiet tonight, okay? Just checking, make sure you...
Wait.
How's the lane doing down there?
Good.
Oh, good.
No
Okay.
questions.
My table full of alternates there. Dean, you're fine. Okay.
It's a very sparse understory. I don't think there's much need for disturbance as much as sowing seed to try to jumpstart that herbaceous layer.
I don't see a key that indicates what kind of shrubs or trees you're planting. Are there any that service berries that are gonna give?
Yeah, it's,
I don't know.
they're in the narrative. There's 10 gray dogwoods and 10 maple leaf viburnums, both shade tolerant shrubs with showy flowers. Fruits typically, very typically utilized by birds and by small mammals.
Where's
Yeah,
that narrative?
There is a legend at the upper right.
Can you point us to where the narrative list is in our packet?
Buffer plan, that's box.
The CUP app.
Boulder pile, boulder location.
Yeah, it's down in the responses at the end of the CUP app, Jen. Responses to the criteria. I forget which number that is.
Oh, I think I found it.
It's page 66.
Thank you. What size plants are you installing?
I usually do them, I usually prescribe generally on 10-foot center, but 3 or 4 foot specimens.
Oh, 3 to. It's a pretty big area of clearing. Are there mature trees that will need to be removed?
Yeah, there's definitely, like as discussed, eastern hemlock trees, there are beech trees, some oak trees, white pine trees. We tried to lessen that, reduce that as much as possible, and that's one of the comments that came up at Concom for the tree line.
Well, let's open this to the public. Well, anybody in the public would like to speak, comment, or ask a question?
I hope you don't mind if I sit. I've got an extremely bad back. So.
Okay. We'll pass the microphone.
Thank you. My name's Roland Rumford. I live at my wife and I live at 24 Oaklands Road, which is around the corner, but our land abuts this property. Just a real quick history. My grandfather owned all the property from basically 40 Oaklands Road all the way to, I think it's 14. So he owned all that property, about 80 acres. Split it off between my 2 aunts and my father. Put my father in the middle to keep the sisters from fighting.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm the last one left that have kept the land. So my wife and I have been there since 1989. This property here was owned by Ed and Nancy Matthews, but then willed it to Aaron and Mary Belanger, which are my cousins. So the 30-foot right-of-way, I don't know, sir, if you could tell me where the culvert is that will drain, like, off of Oaklands Road, because
It is right there.
where's Oaklands Road? Is it to my left?
Yeah. It is to your left of the place.
Okay, because has anybody done a walkthrough in, say, March and April?
You were out there this spring.
I was in the spring, yeah.
Right across the street, I can't remember the house that is across the street. 17, is it? Yeah. Oh, when it rains and in the wintertime, there's a pond there. And then when it rains heavier, which is, I've never seen that place not have a pond, by the way. But anyways, it runs across and it goes into that 30-foot, right, it's actually a natural swale. If you look from the road and look down, there's a stream in the spring that runs and drains all that water and it goes out back. I'm not sure I don't see anything to address that because I imagine the driveway is going to fill in that natural sluiceway.
They actually, you can kind of see the saddle right here. It runs down right beside it.
How wide is that? I mean, if you go down there in the spring, it's very wide of water that runs down, but.
We've been through there, we haven't walked through the water, so the driveway is right on that, on the other neighbor's property, like it's right there, the driveway.
So the driveway is going to be on,
It's really along it's not on their property, but it what do you call it, abuts their property, so it's not like.
is it on the 14 or?
16.
It's on the 16.
Yeah.
It's on the
I
16.
know what you're talking about, yeah. No, it's not on this, I mean, yeah.
But the water runs, and I'm sure you can attest, it runs every year. I mean, every spring, it runs from across the road and right across the road and down into that where the yellow is, I guess you would say. And then it disappears in the back.
So what is your concern with that?
Well, my concern is how high is that driveway going to be to the road? Is it going to force the water into their property and their property?
No.
Oh, it isn't? Where's it going?
It's going right down where it does currently.
It doesn't
It's
change.
going to-
Right down the
Doesn't
side of the
change.
driveway. This little pullback,
Yeah.
this is a downhill direction.
Yeah,
So
it
where you
is.
see the contours pull back and create the little V's, that is the swale, the existing
So
swale.
you're gonna swale both sides of the driveway, so the water runs down next to the driveway?
On both sides?
I mean, it will be forced to do that by the fact that it's going to be elevated a couple of feet.
So is that driveway going to be going downhill and then out back?
Yes.
So it's not going to affect, all the proposals here is not going to affect like our property for wet, because it is very wet.
Oh, is that where you live?
I live on 24 on the other side.
So if you see where the house is.
Yeah, this is not going to hold back water from running over
So if I'm
the
driving.
road whatsoever.
Is it going to move the wetland, should I say?
Yeah, if somebody's going to talk, we just need to know who you are,
I'm
and you have to have a
sorry.
mic. You're okay, you're talking, but
need to
there's
have a-
conversation going on back there, and it's got to be part of the record.
Yeah.
So we just need to know who's speaking,
Who's
Oh, I can
speaking,
get
and they need to have a mic.
and they need to have a mic, because
Hi, Tammy Newman. I'm Liam's mom, and I'm the general contractor that's going to be building in there. So what I asked this gentleman was if he was that neighbor on the right. Yeah, and he's not, but he's down I'm down he's down around the corner. So are you on the corner? Yes.
Yeah, I understood what you were saying. There was just a lot
Sorry,
going on
I
back there that shouldn't have
apologize.
been, so yeah, okay. Thank you.
I'll give it back to you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Step up and the microphone's right over there. Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Yep, so I'm Thomas King. I live at 16 Oaklands. And so the driveway, from what I understand, is now, when that 30-foot opening is going to pretty much abut my existing property. And the swale going down the driveway is now going to be on the right side. But we just now said it's going to be running down both sides. So now that's going to be flooding into my property. Is that my understanding? Didn't we just say it would be running down both sides of the driveway?
Any water that falls on what would be the southwest side of the driveway will run down along the driveway.
Now, you said the driveway would be elevated.
It will.
So it'll be essentially running down both sides, is what you said.
But not the water that comes across the street and gets into that channel. That channel's not getting changed. So it's going to continue to run right down that channel, just like it always has.
Yeah, because
And it's really got no propensity to jump that driveway and get to your property.
So when we have the runoff coming across the street from 17 Oaklands and from the hill behind it, we get wet too. I have that U-shaped driveway with those two German Shepherds there. You guys all met. So that.
Well, we heard them anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure. So that front portion of my yard is also pretty much underwater. As cars go through, they bring the water onto our property and everything else.
It just washes out right through the yard heading towards us.
So I just want to be sure if, again, what you had said is you're going to, the elevation of the driveway, essentially both sides of the driveway, the water will be running down. I know you just said you can't divert the water on the west side, but with the driveway being there, is that going to cause an extra effect onto my property? And I'm sure the answer is going to be no, but I just want to understand why it would be no.
Well, I don't know where the water's coming from.
It's coming from across the street at 17.
Well, I know, but that's a big street. Oakland's Road is pretty long.
So it's coming across the street?
All I can tell you is that what this gentleman was talking about, that existing swale, is on the northeasterly side of the driveway.
Yep.
So the driveway from these elevations will be up 1.5 feet, 2 feet, roughly, whatever, But as these contours come back, they also form a very, very shallow place for the water to run, a little draw for the water to run right next to the edge of the grading. So the water is going to continue to head in this direction.
How wide is the driveway?
The driveway we are proposing, I think it was...
12 feet.
12 feet?
12 feet, yep.
So there'll be a portion of drainage from the edge of my property to the edge of the structural driveway itself.
And then it will run down beside the driveway.
All right. Yeah. It's sloped, but still, if it's their, part of their driveway, their land, it's their land, their driveway. You know, but if it comes into our house and affects it, goes into our basement windows, then that's an issue. Yep.
Okay.
I should just sit over here. We can go back and forth. So I think the drainage that you have on your property currently that runs across the driveway.
So that's not on our property.
Right, it's on ours, collecting water. Is that collecting water from our area, or is that collecting water from your property?
No, it's collecting water from...
Across the street?
Across the street, down that hill. So the property where the power lines are?
Yeah.
All that water migrates down and makes its way down, right down 17 Oaklands Road, kind of right down the driveway through their front yard. Right through their front yard, Bob, if I have it wrong, just let me know. They did a lot of work to get there, to push the water away from their property even more. But it does make a small pond in the road, right at the end of right where his mailbox is. Right where his mailbox is. And it's not a puddle. It's deep. So when cars go through there, I mean, it's a splash zone. So, yep.
My name is Bob White, 17 Oakland Road. The way that the road is, you got Watson Road up here, you got Beach Hill Road coming from this way. There's a hill on both sides, so all the water runs downhill on both sides. It accumulates right in my front yard, as well as the drainage that comes from my backyard, and it goes out to the road. And when that road, when it rains or it snows and you get snow melt, that water gets pretty high, it crests the middle of the road, and then it runs down that drain on the side. So there's a lot of water there. And as a safety concern for traffic, it gets icy, and, there could be an accident at some point. So it's also a safety concern, in my opinion. I'd like to see some sort of underground drainage or some sort of storm drain that can divert that water so it runs down there naturally like it should. Thank you.
I'm Nancy King, Tom's wife, at 16 Oaklands. I just wanted to try and understand how, when he said he's raising the road, with them explaining how the water flows, when it reaches that height in front of their property, it now flows onto the whole side of our house, making that area really wet. So if they're raising their road, driveway, our land slopes so that the water, anything that's accumulating from the road, goes down into their proposed the drainage that's already there. But them saying that they're adding a road that's higher is making me concerned that where's the water, the extra water that's going to come from their property is, and we already have a drain from our house because there's been issues in the past. So I know they're going to take care of that, but I'm just concerned with the extra of the road now. Our little drain may not handle
it, yeah.
So if there's that much water, they're raising their road. I'm just a little concerned about that. I want to make sure it's addressed when they build that.
Reasonable to discuss like a culvert, if a concern is drainage from the property above the driveway in this illustration, a culvert from that under the road into the spot where it's draining more easily?
I don't have surveyed topography for that parcel, so I can't tell you how it runs. What I can tell you is that water from this driveway, 6 feet of that driveway is going to go to the right, 6 feet of it's going to go to the left, and there is on the right an existing swale that is going to remain untouched, and on the left there will be a very shallow swale that will be created simply from grading of the driveway. I certainly don't think it's this applicant's issue to mitigate existing water problems in Oakland Road itself. That seems a little outlandish to me. We are not impeding the way the water would flow if it ponds up and spills over the center line of the Oakland's Road. As far as I can tell, everything off property based on what we got for survey runs in this direction, and that is the way it's going to continue to run. We are not impeding that. And this driveway is a negative slope directly from the edge of existing Oakland's Road pavement.
I was just going to ask you how that driveway relates to the height of the road.
Yep, it comes off at 2% and then goes down into 5%. So it's got a decent slope down that hill onto their property.
Yeah. Yeah.
How close is the driveway to the property line?
Well, it's 12 feet centered in 30. So you're going to have 9 feet either side.
It looks like the contour lines are grading pretty close to the property line. Is that, am I reading this right? It's like kind of small.
Yeah, I mean, the grading is pretty close. But that was, again, to make sure that the water has a place to go that isn't down the middle of the driveway.
Right, but typically, I think we don't allow grading within 5 feet of a property line, and this looks like it's grading closer to that, so would
I think
that
that's
not
a
require?
subdivision regulation.
Yeah,
and
this is
individual lot
Yeah.
development.
This is a conditional use permit.
Yeah.
This is all that's being asked. I mean, I'm unclear on the authority to talk about, where the drain's going and so forth. This isn't a site plan application or a subdivision app. This is a conditional use permit, and the 8 criteria are listed in the ordinance, and it all has to do with wetland buffer and wetland buffer impact. If you can somehow tie what they're doing into an impact of the wetland buffer associated with the drainage, then I think it's under the planning board's purview, but I'm not sure.
My concern, I think what I was getting at with that question is that it seems like there's this existing drainage swale on the south side of the driveway that is now going to become a little bit more concentrated because of the driveway, which will lead to, concentrated stormwater moving faster, potentially contributing to runoff, going into the wetland. So that's the connection that I'm making. I mean, I feel like it's hard to,
There is.
Just a minute, yep.
So if it's only 9 feet on either side of the driveway, correct? That the natural, or that water will drain?
Well, that's the edge. He was asking how close the driveway is to the existing parcel lines.
Okay.
9 feet either side, because that's centered in 30.
Because currently where the water runs and goes out back is way more than 9 feet wide. I mean, it kind of goes like this, if you walk it, and then down out back. So you're going to wind up channeling it, it sounds like in a 9 foot on either side of the driveway, and then having it go out, which is going to speed it up, I would say. I'm just wondering how this water is going to flow to the back properly, should I say. Because like I said, in the springtime, doesn't matter if you've had a wet spring or even a winter, that water flows across the road and down that, in that land. So, just curious how that's gonna affect. I mean, imagine it affects you guys more than anyone.
So yes, thank you. I don't have my book with me, so I don't have the criteria. Thank you for reminding us of that. Excuse me, sorry. It's something in the air I can't breathe through all tonight. But that doesn't mean we don't hear what you're saying and your concerns. We might not be able to factor that in with this, but it does sound like there's some concern there. So, wait a minute, I'm sorry, just the planner was gonna.
And just to describe it, when you say, 9 feet, if I'm reading this correctly, and I believe I am, the center of that natural swale is, most of it's not even on this property. It's on whatever property is to the east.
Correct.
So that, when you say 9 feet on the side, it's not already going down the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, the swale is already over here, so it's probably, 10 feet, then another 9 feet until it gets to the driveway. So it might be 20 feet just on one side of center.
So has that been?
So if something's 40 feet wide,
So
then.
has it been researched where the center currently of that?
Just based on topo, you look at the topo and you follow where the center is, where if rainfall it would come, and that's my understanding. I'd ask the engineer too to chime in and be on the site, but it looks like that center of that line is not even on this property. It's not in that 30
is
feet.
correct. The center of the existing drainage.
Swale, yeah.
That is correct.
Just want to make that clarification.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and just so the board is clear, the 9 feet, in answer to Marty's question, is what we have left over on either side of the driveway to the property line of the 30-foot stub that leads out to the buildable portion of this property. It is just the distance from the proposed edge of driveway to the property line on both sides. That's what the 9 feet is.
It looks like it's more on one side. It's away from the channel on one side.
Yeah.
It's shifted, so it might be 12 and on one side and 6 on the other. You know what I'm saying? Like the driveway is closer to the western edge as it goes into the property. My point is that 9 feet can vary. It's not 9 feet on either side.
Yes. Yep. And that's probably where that first horizontal curve comes into play.
Okay. Gotta get,
Can I just add a comment real quick?
yes?
Do you have?
So,
The mic.
So, the young couple that have purchased the land and stuff, they have been very forthcoming. They've explained everything to us. I just want you to know it's not what, we just have concerns because we're property owners. But, everything they're doing, they have actually come and addressed it with us, this and that. So, I just want that to be known. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Water's a big deal.
It is a big
Flooding is a big deal. Yeah.
Sure.
And to your
if
windows.
if it's being generated by like the Oaklands Road itself or something like that, then I think we could, I could talk to DPW and, like if they have a future project, we usually try to address, drainage issues when they're out there on a
Yeah,
different
thank you
project. So
for
that's
saying
good
that.
to know, and please come and contact me and we go, it sounds it. So
Yeah.
if you're deep puddling on the road,
we contact you every year, but you just hang out.
oh, okay.
That
you'll
is a
contact
joke,
me,
right?
So
Yeah.
try me and I'll,
The busy signal and
Okay.
it never happened.
Yeah. So thank you for
reach out to me and I'll at least get
understanding.
you, you might not like the answer, but I'll get you an answer. So.
Yeah.
There's no animosity.
So you've been heard, it's just within the scope of what we
That's
can,
why we're here.
yeah, but we love having people come and talk to us, so thank you.
I guess I just
It's
am
important.
hoping that the calculations are, I have to trust that the calculations are right for the crossing and that that's not gonna, you're not gonna have a pond down at the culvert like they have in their, in their front yard.
Exactly. And I mean, once it gets over that center line of the road, we've got a lot of slope.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You sure do.
Yep.
Plus it's coming down, yeah. Yeah, you got quite a drop.
All right, I think what I'll do is I'll close the public hearing and come back to the board. And Christian, can you go over the questions and responses for the
Yeah, I will let Sergio do that since he scribed them.
Okay, so the 8 criteria.
Okay.
The proposed use is permitted in the underlying zoning district. This proposal is similar to other single-family dwellings associated with the zoning district. To use, the use is expressly allowed in the underlying district. No alternative design which does not impact a wetland or wetland buffer, or which has less detrimental impact on the wetland or wetland buffer is feasible. This proposal represents the least impacting practical alternative. The initial concept was prepared for previous landowners. Since then, the property has changed ownership, and the current landowners and applicants have deemed that the initial impractical design impractical given the limit of usable uplands and their home design goals. In addition, the small upland area in the southerly corner of the parcel would also result in wetland buffer impacts, allow little space for anything beyond a house, driveway, and septic field, and would be a negative visual impact to the abutting property owner's residence. Further, a driveway configuration to access this portion of the parcel would require a left turn with a driveway radius that would be difficult for emergency vehicles to access. This preferred alternative would result in less visual impact to the abutting homeowners and increased vegetative and privacy screening for those property owners located to the south and west. This proposal accommodates a modest single-family home and is the culmination of an exhaustive existing conditions analysis and the site design process that endeavors to balance state and town regulations, environmental and abutter impacts, long-term sustainability and enjoyment of the property, and the needs of a young family who wish to remain in the area. It should be noted that the proposed wetland crossing avoids any encroachment to the prime wetland buffer, and the septic design located in the buildable uplands avoids impacting the refined field delineated wetland through ENV 70305 on the prime wetland buffer, 125 feet, and the town of Exeter 100-foot prime wetland buffer, no cut, no disturb. 3, a wetland scientist has provided an impact evaluation that includes the functions and values of the wetland and assessment of the potential project-related impacts, and concluded to the extent feasible the proposed impact is not detrimental to the value and function of the wetlands or the greater hydrologic system. So to that end, I can go through them, but the main capacity, the main function there is, as when I get involved in projects, is wildlife habitat. That's why, again, to answer your question again, Jennifer, they were so generous in allowing me to design something that could better that understory and offset any temporary displacement of birds, mammals. So to that end, but this goes through using the highway methodology as a basis. And I can go through them, but it's long-winded, but essentially, the big one for me was the wildlife capacity. So I think we've more than mitigated or offset those impacts. We get down to 4.
Number
that
4.
The design, construction, and maintenance of the proposed use will, to the extent feasible, minimize detrimental impact on the wetlands or the buffer. Again, I could, with the implementation of the buffer program, the buffer enhancement program. The proposed wetland crossing design will incorporate BMPs. The limit of disturbance is depicted by an erosion control mulch berm on the plan set. These components will serve as best management practices. The project has been designed to reduce permanent buffer impacts with these BMPs in BMPs and implemented to prevent further impacts to this portion of the forested wetland saddle. The BMPs will act as the limit of disturbance and effectively contain construction materials and equipment, as well as any other debris or fine sediments associated with construction activity. Incorporating erosion control mulch berms provides a filter medium that blends in with the natural topography of the ground and reduces potential for silt-laden stormwater runoff from entering the wetland resource, again, circling back to potential for concentrated flow. The BMP measures will be maintained and accumulated sediment will be promptly removed to ensure continued functional capacity to avoid or minimize erosion and siltation in the direction of the forested wetlands. These BMPs will remain in place until the site is vegetatively stable. The depiction of the erosion control berm represents approximately 30,000 square foot limit, which has been revised since then with the tree line. But that encompasses any of the wetland or the buffer impacts. 5, the proposed use will not create a hazard to individual or public health, safety, and welfare due to the loss of the wetland, loss of the wetland, the contamination of groundwater, or other reasons. The hydrologic connectivity will be preserved with the installation of a 15-inch PVC pipe and relatively dry forested wetland area during regular climatic conditions following spring runoff. In addition, the applicant is committed to implementing the robust mitigation plan to offset permanent wetland impacts with a generous ratio for buffers and impacts. The BEP incorporates high-quality shrub plantings with wildlife habitat structure components to catalyze and enhance the existing plant community. The applicant may propose an increase in wetland buffers elsewhere on site that would surround a wetland of equal greater size or of equal greater functional value than the impacted wetland. I think the deed restriction helps that as well as the BEP, the Buffer Enhancement Program. Again, I can go through this. The applicant's committed to implementing the robust buffer enhancement program to mitigate and offset those permanent and wetland impacts and 40-foot, the impacts of the 40-foot limited use buffer impacts. Sorry, with a generous ratio for those buffer zone impacts. To supplement the request for CUP, the applicant proposes the mitigation, the BPA as mitigation for wetland and 40-foot limited use buffer zone impacts. The 14,800 square foot BEP is sited in the location of the crossing at the edges of the limit of disturbance. The BEP will include boulder piles, nest boxes, as well as those as prescribing those high-quality native plantings to complement the surrounding forested area with wildlife habitat structure. These structures may provide cover, nesting, foraging, and for a diversity of wildlife species. The BEP prescribes plantings to enhance a relatively sparse understory, as well as provide function and value for the wildlife habitat structure components. Seeds, we can go through this verbatim, but the seed conservation seed mix, wildlife conservation seed mix, showy flowers should hopefully invite more bees, apiformes, hopefully a lot more lepidopteran species, the butterflies and the moths, as well as a larger variety of forest-dwelling birds, eastern kingbirds, black-throated blue warblers, tree swallows, and other white-throated sparrows. I talked about the 4 boulder piles. Basically, I've just indicated that the BEP is the robust BEP is not going to be a detrimental impact to the wetland. In cases where the proposed use is temporary or where construction activity disturbs areas adjacent to the immediate use, the applicant has included a restoration proposal revegetating any disturbed areas within the buffer with the goal to restore the site as nearly to its original grade and condition following construction. The applicant is committed to restoring all appropriate grades to their existing conditions as practical given the amount of required construction, given the required construction of the driveway and dwelling to observe all local setback buffers in the context of the minor prime wetland boundary revision. Moreover, the applicant is committed to, again, I'm reiterating what the applicant is committed to implementing the BEP explained in detail with criterion number 5. And 8, that all permits shall be...
Is that all you're reading?
Shall be obtained from the deed.
Keep going, I'm sorry. Can you text John to let him know that?
That all required permits
Okay, I don't have the number.
from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, Water Quality Supply and Pollution Control Division, and the New Hampshire Wetlands Bureau, which we're undergoing at this point, and the Army Corps. I'm currently in the RS portal with the Army Corps. The applicant has also submitted it's under review, the dredge and fill permit application with the New Hampshire State Department of Environmental Services under Section 404 of the Clean Water Act with the Army Corps and Regulatory Request Service, which is the new portal for the Army Corps nationwide permits. So that threw a little bit of a wrench into our process. It's a learning process, but we're getting through that process as we speak through IPAC and through Army Corps with the RRS. So that was our criteria. It's lengthy, it's wordy, but I wanted to drive home that they were committed to offsetting those impacts.
Dave, do you have any boilerplate comment conditions?
No, outside the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
I don't have any for a CUP. I usually leave that up to, the discussion. But I do have some recommendations on Well, first, the limit of clearing plan, they recommend that, and they recommend a maintenance plan. If the planning board is okay with what they submitted as far as a clearing plan, and they say outside the wetland buffers, which is a little confusing because the wetland buffer is like 75 feet in that area because it has a structural setback. The clearing is outside the 40-foot limited use buffer and within the 75, but I don't think that was probably their intent to stay outside the 40 because I just think that's what their intent was.
And that's what our charge was from the contract.
Outside the 40-foot.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not an articulated here, but.
We were actually told that if this was all in the clearing, not the structure itself, but if the clearing was all between the 40 and the 75-foot setback, a CUP wouldn't even be required.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
yes,
so I'm clear,
you're
but they say
absolutely
wetland buffers, and
I get it.
actually, it's a 75-foot review buffer, but,
Yeah.
so I think we're good on that, as long as the planning board is good with the limited clearing, but I think it meets the intent of the Conservation Commission. And then as long as you're good with the maintenance plan, I think those two conditions have been satisfied with the plan. The other condition, though, a deed restriction be placed on the back portion of the lot as presented by the applicant's representative. I would recommend something more like an in perpetuity deed restriction shall be placed on the back portion of the lot as presented by the applicant's representative and submitted to the planning department for review and approval, and the deed shall be recorded prior to the CO for the dwelling. Just so it's super clear on when this happens and what it includes. Thank you.
Okay. If we're set with that, I would like to make a motion.
I will give it a try.
Okay.
Mr. Sharple speaks faster than I can write, but it's okay. I'm not complaining. So I am going to move that the request of Beals Associates on behalf of Liam Newman and is it Megan Sullivan, Planning Board Case Number 26-13 for a wetlands conditional use permit be approved with the following conditions. As stated in the June 18th, 2026 memo from the Conservation Commission, there are 3 conditions, and to also add to condition 1 regarding the deconstruction what our town planner, Mr. Sharples, has recommended. Did that cover it? I hope.
That's a bag full, but yes.
I know. Okay.
Yep. Is there a second? Jen, you awake?
Oh, I'm awake.
Okay, just checking. Okay, Sam seconded for us. Any discussion?
I'm thinking is it too late to add other conditions if you're already in? If they've already been?
No, I don't think so.
If there's already been a motion? No. Okay.
I mean, and if that's going to be a deterrent or hindrance, then I'll just withdraw my motion.
So can I discuss the potential?
Certainly.
All right, so I'm super concerned about these nesting boxes. So I think it'd be nice to see the schematic, or at least have the schematic reviewed by the town planner. And I think it would be good to understand how they would be maintained so that we don't end up with the situation that Gwen's been observing. I mean, I would hate for a nesting box to become something that actually can hurt wildlife in the future because it hasn't been properly maintained or cleaned or whatever. So
Yep.
I'm not super familiar with, from a technical standpoint, the benefits of this type of buffer enhancement program. And I'm feeling instinctually that it could be damaging. It could hurt more than it could help if not executed properly. So I think the boxes are the thing that is probably the most concerning to me. The plantings, fine.
So is that something like the drain being checked, that they need to be checked annually or something?
I don't know. I don't know anything about nesting boxes. I can picture if people if animals are nesting in them
alive
and then
and well and
they're
functioning
festering,
properly?
getting gross. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know what.
Comes off, or they?
I can provide the schematics, absolutely.
And a
I
maintenance
think
plan?
that the maintenance is like, so they don't fall. I mean, they're nest boxes, so they're gonna be utilized and reutilized. Sometimes by small mammals, sometimes by
Are they
other
like on a
birds.
pole, or
Yeah, they're
can you
pole
describe it?
Pole mounted, yes, I apologize.
Okay.
And I can provide those schematics.
So it's like a bird box.
It's a bird box, yeah, I can provide those schematics. I apologize that I didn't put them in the CUP package.
I can take a picture of the bat boxes I have to keep them out of my attic that they put on my house.
Does that work?
I got to burn some bats last night.
They're not very pretty.
Yeah.
No, but they're functional.
Yeah, they're functional.
Thank you, I can absolutely provide the schematics and
Okay.
come up with clearing, not clearing out, but maintenance of the poles so they don't just fall over and, absolutely.
So nothing's attached to trees?
No, we're not thinking trees on this, it's pole mounted.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think as far as the cleaning them out, that's probably something we don't want to do. I mean, I have bird nests underneath my deck that have been there for 5 years, and I haven't seen them come in with a vacuum once.
Right. I don't think it's cleaning them out so much as maintaining that they're
Maintaining, that I understand.
useful.
I thought I'd heard somebody say something
Yeah,
about that.
no, it's that
Well,
they're
they-
useful.
I mean,
They're
some
doing their
birds you
job.
do have to, like
Yeah.
red boxes, you have to clean them out at the end of the year. That's fun.
I'd be glad to provide that to Krista and to Dave.
Yeah, I mean, my father-in-law had a bird box that the squirrels would just store food in.
You're not wrong. Sometimes small mammals will do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes you get flying squirrels, which is great, but can't promise that.
Except if they get in the house.
I just feel like you typically also see bird boxes like around someone's house. Well, they'll keep an eye on it, and these are going to be kind of in the woods, and I feel like could be somewhat forgotten, and that's my other concern.
So Jen, there was just one thing. You
So I guess
boil
the
it down to
condition-
maintaining the nesting boxes?
I
or
guess
was there another-
the schematic and maintenance plan, if required, for the nesting boxes.
Okay, so schematic. And maintenance plan of nesting box. Okay, so,
Could I also I just have a clarification question regarding one of the conditions. The maintenance plan for the culvert and the inspections can be done and submitted. How does that work? Is it an actual plan submitted to the town and somebody checking?
No, what I said, I thought that if the planning board was comfortable, they don't need conditions 2 and 3 because those already have been provided on the plans.
Okay.
So you can reiterate it, but then it confuses a little bit because they've already provided it. So are you happy with what's provided? And the maintenance plan is what I read to you earlier about the culverts and the inspections and, repair and replacement as needed and erosion and so forth. That's their plan. That note on the plan is their maintenance plan that was provided. And then the second one, the limit of clearing, is represented by that little green, tree line. Is that where they're saying they're not going to clear beyond that when they develop this site? So if you're okay with those.
I'm okay with them. I just wanted to reference the Conservation Commission's memo that was part of their approval. So I shouldn't do that?
No, it's not that you shouldn't do it. It's you're saying condition that you have to provide this. But it's something that's already been provided. I guess that's what I'm understanding it as.
Probably couldn't read it. Okay, all right.
Because they said,
Well, I'm
shall
going
be
to withdraw
provided.
my motion.
Okay.
Start from scratch.
And Sam?
I will withdraw my second.
Thank you. So, I'm going to try this one more time and then someone else gets it. So, I'm going to try to wing this. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I move that the request of Beals Associates on behalf of Leon Newman and Megan Sullivan, Planning Board Case Number 26-13, for a wetlands conditional use permit be approved with the following conditions, which are that the condition as stated in number 1 of the June 18th, 2026 memo from the Conservation Commission also include the language that our town planner suggested, and that would also include that the town planner be given the schematics and maintenance plan for the nesting boxes. Did I cover that?
Well, no.
Can I add prior to the issuance of a decision letter? I always like to put when
And-
this is due by, when they have to submit it.
Prior to the
Issuance of a
decision letter.
Thank
I
you.
can add that because no one seconded me.
All right.
Sam?
Sam will second that. Where's John?
Mr. Gruder, wake up.
Probably
Right
asleep.
here.
You there, John?
All right. You
Oh,
all
yeah,
set?
there he is.
It's your turn.
Yes.
All right, let's start with John. I'm in favor. How about Marty?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Chairman?
Yes.
Chairman? Who else did I forget? Gwen?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And I guess finally, Sam?
Yes.
Did I forget anyone?
Got us all.
All right. Any objections? Seeing none, the motion is passed. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the community support. This is exciting. We get the neighborhood here.
Thank you, guys.
Follow up with Dave about your issues, your concerns.
No heckling tonight. He says he doesn't feel well.
I have to
I'm
find,
keeping track of that.
well, it's okay. I've got to find them. What did I do with my meeting minute?
We're going to get back to this minute.
Oh my gosh, I can't find them now. Scooped up here.
Get this together. There.
Okay.
There we are.
Find that lady.
Oh, thank God. Found it. Meeting minute. Good night, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I did have one weird one.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, can I ask a question to you?
Sure.
Will there be an opportunity for public comment tonight, particularly on the MPOC discussion?
We have an other? We should have an
On the which session?
Other business?
See it.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear him because I can hear that, so.
We'll get an answer in a minute.
Can,
Okay, same thing.
And then
we're just waiting for you guys to, okay, because we're still in a meeting. Thank you.
all right.
Okay, you have a question? Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm curious if there's going to be a public comment opportunity on the master plan discussion tonight.
Are you going to have a report?
The only thing I was going to say is I met with the town manager, the assistant town manager, and the finance director today about the CIP. And one of the many items in there was for 2027 is the master plan update. So we're going to propose it for 2027 to go to the voters. We'll see how it gets through the process.
Through the process.
Budget review committee, the
Yeah.
select board, the voters, and so forth. But that's all I had to report. Thank you.
Sure, you have a question?
Hi, folks. My name is Silas Richards. I live over on Park Street. I want to thank you folks for your patience right tonight as volunteers. right? It makes a town continue to go. My comments relate to the master plan discussion. I have 2 points tonight. The first is about bicycle parking, particularly in downtown. I was at a planning board meeting in April, and I brought up the fact that there is only one currently downtown, and that continues. Talk to people downtown, right? They're chaining their bikes to our street trees, right? There's a need for street parking. So that's my first item, and I strongly encourage this board to continue expanding bicycle parking in this community, which leads into my second comment for the evening. Based on my calculation, it's been 42 days since the Master Plan Oversight Committee has held a meeting. And that is a concern of mine as a citizen and as someone who worked for a long time with other volunteers, with our town planner, to advance the Complete Streets guidelines and elements in the bicycle and pedestrian master plan. Because this committee has not met, it has been very difficult to continue to advocate and make sure that our plans and our ideas and our citizens can have input on the measures that are the responsibility of the Master Plan Oversight Committee. So I just am coming here tonight to register my concern that it has been so long. And we have a number of very big projects that are going to be impacting potential bicycle and pedestrian safety in this town. And I just strongly encourage and hope that the Master Plan Committee, if that's how we're going to continue to operate our bicycle and pedestrian improvements out of, needs with more frequency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I ask Mr. Staples a question?
Sure.
Wasn't there a meeting scheduled, but then at the last minute there was no quorum? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, Aaron backed out and had
At
a
the last
conflict.
minute.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Okay,
And
so-
there's three of us. It's a subcommittee. I mean, not three of us, three members. And when we've always waited until three people had the time. I mean, 42 days is not unusual for the master plan committee. I mean, they try to meet once a month. Sometimes they don't have anything to meet for. I think it's not for the master plan oversight committee. The master plan oversight committee, I'll read the.
Yeah, thank you, because I think there's some confusion on the role of
Yeah,
that
the
committee.
master plan doesn't come up with things. It
Yeah.
doesn't say, oh, we need to do this. It just, I'll just read it.
Thank you.
The committee shall consist of three members of the planning board. The committee will review and promote the master plan and make recommendations to the planning board on implementation of the master plan's goals and objectives. The committee's work may also include the development of proposed amendments to the town land use regulations. The committee shall work with and seek input from other town boards and/or other community stakeholders as deemed appropriate by the committee. So they're just kind of, I use them to like advance to make sure we're implementing the plans. So that's, in concert with what I just read. I use them for that.
Okay.
What
How
I'm hearing
frequently
is
do
might
they
be a
meet?
little confusion on what
The role
their
is?
purpose and their
Yeah,
role is,
that's
but
what I think too.
that's, yeah.
Okay, and one more follow-up question, if I could, Mr. Chair. I believe we have 3 bicycle parking.
Yeah, there's one right at the town hall, is a thing, and then another one across the street. So I know there's 2 there.
And then there's one at one of the parks. And I
Yeah,
can't
the one
remember
at Townhouse
Founder.
Common. So,
Townhouse
yeah,
Common.
yeah.
So are you saying that you haven't seen them out there? You've only seen one?
I'm unfamiliar of the one that was discussed at that April meeting that was supposed to be at the town offices, but was removed for the flag recycling program. But there is not a bicycle parking area anywhere around the Ioka, right? That's a particularly bad place where I don't see parking, bicycle parking, excuse me. And then continuing down towards D squared, down towards the Parkway.
Yeah, so I think that's something we have to look at because we have to be careful of where we put it, right? We can't block the sidewalk, so.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's something.
Yeah, it's more, the planning board traditionally has not been involved in that.
Right,
I mean,
I'm just throwing
like,
it out there as a
and During a
suggestion.
master plan discussion and the public input,
Yeah.
people say we want more bike racks, I mean, or they identify
Right.
spots. That's kind of during the
Come to the
master plan
select
update.
board or
but
the update,
Planning board,
yeah.
I don't generally.
I know.
don't
I'm just
not to
throwing it
say
out
you-
there. Sorry
we
to take
can't,
people's time,
but like when you come through a bike and pedestrian plan, we go through a process, we, do an RFQ, RFP, hire consultants to come in, they do a public engagement process and so forth. So that's how it goes. And then these reports come out with the recommendations of do this X, Y, and Z,
Right.
after this public engagement process has ended. So that's how it
Okay.
usually works. I'm in unfamiliar territory if we're going to, I don't know, are we just saying, well, we want this, and now we have to?
No, that's
Okay.
not the rule.
It's not generally the planning board.
Yeah.
So I would say on,
I was
oh,
gonna
I'm
say,
sorry,
David,
go ahead.
Is that something that would be covered at the MPOC meetings? So like,
No.
is that like a
no.
downstream impact of?
No, the MPOC is responsible for, let me just back up. Okay, so say, I'll just walk you through a situation, right? Like, so like a grant I applied for recently, like a tag, this is a good thing. So we did a master plan update in 2018. And when we go out there, we go out for an RFQ, RFP, we select a consultant. We go through a whole interview process with the public involved or interview panel, whether it consists of people on the planning board or things. So everyone kind of is involved in that. So we choose a consultant. Then the consultant goes through a public engagement process. In this case, the 2018, it involved probably 1,400 different people in town providing input at various stages through various methods of public engagement. And then we take all those details and then we incorporate it into a draft plan. And then we go forward to the planning board and say, this is the master plan, this is the draft, you comment, you provide comment. We have a couple of public hearings at that. And then the planning board approves that plan. And then that becomes a plan. And then there's other offshoots from that. Like one of it's like do a downtown parking study. So then we go out and we do that RFQ, RFP process for the downtown. And then we go out and we hired Stantec for that example, and they propose, 13 different specific recommendations downtown. And it includes, crosswalks and enhancing this and enhancing that. So we go through all this public process. So then it culminates in a document that has specific action agenda items. The Master Plan Oversight Committee is responsible for the implementation of those action items that are listed in that plan that have been through an extensive multi-year process with public engagement. They are not there to say, oh, okay, I want to do this or I want to do that. That isn't what their role. I'm not saying that, that's just not their role. Their role is to implement a plan that has already been through an extensive public process.
Kind of vetted.
And vetted and so forth. Because then if the master plan is just coming in and can change everything, then what was that whole public process for? You know what I'm saying? So
I understand.
That's kind of the process that I see it as. I'm not saying that that's the right process or it can't be
It is
changed.
the
I'm just telling you
process.
that's what the process is.
Okay.
Can I
how do we
opine on something real quick? It's just, I mean, I think there's other processes, like when Lincoln Street was rebuilt, there was a whole streetscape, traffic calming, bike racks were added, so there's lots of bike racks on Lincoln Street.
That was just like the process I just described.
Process, though.
Yeah,
It
kind
went
of.
through
It was
it.
like
It's
slightly
RFP,
different.
RFQ,
though.
neighborhood meetings,
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
engagement.
There was-
I mean, what do you want to see? And drafts and
Right.
select board presentations and then.
Right,
and
but it
then-
didn't have to go through, it wasn't part of the master, well, maybe it was part of the.
No, it was created as a goal for the master
Yeah.
plan.
But like
because it
the
was a
bike
Lincoln
rack
Streets Complete
specifically,
Streets.
it was attached to, like Lincoln Street was redeveloped not because it needed bike racks or it needed traffic calming. It was redeveloped because it needed infrastructure.
Well,
needed
and it was out of the master
utilities.
plan. It was a master plan action item
Right.
to develop a complete streets on Lincoln
But
Street.
if we're going to wait until a street gets completely redeveloped to install a $200 bike rack, that seems a little
I'm
bit
not
crazy.
saying
not what
that. Now,
anyone's
that
saying.
if you took it that
So,
way, I'm
yeah,
that's
saying that's what our process is for the master plan oversight committee.
Yeah.
If you're asking how do we get a bike rack over at the Oka, I'm saying this is not
That's
the
what
forum,
I think that's
nor
what
is
he's
it at the
asking.
MPOC.
Right.
Yeah.
And all we're saying is it's not the planning board's role to
Right.
do that.
But I'm curious if we could just
But give
provide.
them guidance.
If there is
No.
an answer.
Yeah, that
We-
probably.
it has-
I would
No,
think
is there an
you
answer?
talk to
Select
Jay, Jay Perkins at Highway. You talk
Yeah.
to Steve Cronin at DPW. You say you look at it like where does it make sense, and then you got to fund it. Because some of these are I
know
mean,
they're
you know,
not.
some of these are thousands of dollars, depending on what you want, you know, you can spend 10 grand, you know, like, so we just don't have, you know, you have to budget and put it in a fund and create a plan for it. Or if you have funding for it, because when I wanted to do the downtown benches and bike racks, I did that about
Yes.
6 years ago. I proposed it as a CIP item, saying I wanted, you know, 15 benches. I think we have another bike rack, actually, that I ordered and still is over there at DPW. I think I may have a bike rack,
Well, can you
but I
check
don't
on
know
that?
if it'll fit in the location that we're talking about. So that's the process I went through.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was outside of the planning board or MPOC completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just need to know what the specific request is, and then I can
Right.
dictate a process. All
So-
I was responding to was the MPOC's oversight
Right,
responsibility.
and it's not that anyone's against bike racks, it's just that we can't block the sidewalks and stuff, so we have to be careful about where we put them. That's it. We have ADA concerns, where we want people who have wheelchairs and strollers and whatever to be able to get by.
Yeah,
So,
but-
that's it. No one's against bike racks, it's just we have to,
Yeah, and I may, like, where are you talking? Ioka? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
something, I mean, I think we, in the Complete Streets project, we talked about having, I mean, ideally, something that's covered. We talked about having something at the end of Swayze Park, so it's not in anybody's way, and talked about maybe having something on that end of the street, so people coming into town who didn't want to ride their bikes through town could park their bike and become pedestrians and go in and out of stores.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I think
Stewart
that's
Park
one of
must be?
Silas's
Yeah.
concerns, and I think, you know, when we do this big project, like the Complete Streets project, we want to see things happening. We want to know that there's forward motion, because we don't want it to be, I know Marty's brought this up, you know, talking about projects that we do studies on, and then they sit in a top shelf somewhere, and we won't, I mean,
I
this is
think that
important.
happened years ago. I really don't think that's happening anymore.
No, but it,
No, I don't
but
either.
there's always that fear.
No,
that-
we're,
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think we do a great job
Oh,
on
I know,
implementation
I do.
here.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that we don't, I'm just
Okay.
saying that
Yeah.
we need to ensure the public that all that work we've put into it has
So do you have one more question?
yeah.
language.
Silas, and I think Mr. Kelly wanted to add something too.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just, in my understanding, the Complete Streets policy guidelines and the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan were both products of the 2018 Master Plan. Based on that, for much of 2025 and into 2026, the MPOC was working almost every meeting on developing the Complete Street Guidelines and was very involved. As part of some of the recommendations, there was discussions on how do we engage the public before we go into the project phase. So my question is, where do citizens, when they are interested in advancing the discussions before it reaches a large capital improvement phase, right? Small improvements, short bike racks. And Ms. Belanger, we're not saying we want to block the sidewalks.
Oh,
by
of
no
course, I
means.
know that.
But there are people that are interested in getting involved. And my question to this board, if it is not the MPOC and if it is not under the planning board, what is the jurisdiction that individuals who care about this town and want it to be safe for everybody of all ages and abilities can get involved and make sure that their concerns are heard and that they're going to be incorporated when those larger projects come along?
I could answer that a little bit if you wouldn't mind. So I believe when you came to public comment at one of the select board meetings, it was explained to you that that's when that happens. When a project comes up and it's been vetted and it's ready for public comment, it gets on the agenda for the select board, and that's when the public comment would take place. And again, I apologize. I did not mean to insinuate that you thought, that you said that, you know, we wanted to prohibit people getting by. I'm making sure people at home understand, that are listening to this, that of course we want bike racks, we want to make a safe pedestrian bike community, but we have to be careful where we're putting them. The bike racks. That's why we have them in the parks, or out here, or over there, so that they're not obstructing our sidewalks. That's it.
Let's say one thing about obstructing the sidewalks, because people don't have a place to park bikes now, they're obstructing anyway. Because if kids
I
are
get
going to be
that.
squared and park there, like, so if there's a way to place them near where people are going to go, because people are going to go there anyway and put them there, you know?
Okay.
So that would,
The park at park is where I'm thinking. But again, this isn't, I'll bring it to the select board when I do my report for Monday night and see where we can go from there to further the discussion.
the one thing I wanted to add on the MPOC too is that in the master plan, there's, Connect 2A is like townwide bike and pedestrian master plan, which talks about bike parking, as well as the bicycle and pedestrian master plan on page like 46 has a bunch of points about bike parking. So if that's under the purview of the master plan, wouldn't that be something that could be discussed? Like, if citizens have questions about continuing on those parts of the master plan, wouldn't that come up at the MPOC?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
If they want to have that discussion, yes, it's up to them. I'm not going to answer for them, but
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the specific question. If you're asking about a bike rack in front of Ioka, okay, I could probably work with you on that in DPW and not involve any public boards or committees. If you're talking about bigger projects like Silas says, well, we just adopted the complete streets. I'm not aware of any large projects that well, I know there's been no large projects started since the complete streets got adopted that I'm aware of. And I just looked at the CIP and we don't even have any, like West Side Drive and, the School Street and Garfield Street and those, there's no significant road projects in the CIP currently for 2027.
Yeah, but I was talking about in the MPOC, the master plan that exists.
I was answering his question,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
What'd you say?
So I was saying in the master plan currently,
Yeah.
we have point Connect 2A,
Yeah.
which is about townwide bike, and so that's part of the master plan, which talks about promoting bike use and that kind of thing.
Correct.
And then there's also the bike pedestrian master plan, which talks about bike parking. So that would be under the MPOC committee, right?
I guess you'd have to have a specific question in there. Like, I'm looking for, I have to deal with like actual specific question. When you say bike parking, like, does that mean, what does that mean, bike parking? Because the bike and ped master plan was developed with talk about, all those things and addressing, bike parking needs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a specific action agenda items that have come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
The MPOC is responsible for implementing those action items. Do you follow me?
Yes, I do. So
Okay.
the MPOC would be responsible for executing
The 50,
the points of that.
well, they're not responsible for executing.
overseeing it,
Because they don't have budget authority.
Right, but just making sure
They don't have
making sure
money.
it's progressing.
Yeah, they can ask questions, be like, hey, because right now, what I asked the MPOC to do after because I asked them to do the complete streets. I was like, that's something that they could focus on. It's part of the master plan. The committee can be a good sounding board to bring that project through to fruition. I was glad I did because I went out on leave and it was able to be a continuity of operations here and finish that. So, but what I've asked them to do is let's look at the 50 goals in the MPOC, in the Bike and Ped Master Plan, and make sure, see what we can do to assist with implementation.
Yeah.
We can't provide the budget for them. We can't dictate people to do it.
Yeah.
It has to go through a whole public process and have to have funding and, so forth, and BRC and select board and voters and so forth to have funding for anything we do in the public. That's just the process. But we're outside that process, but we can say, okay, we want to, help implementation. So I saw it as like, the MPOC's focus right now is let's look at the low-hanging fruit, the inexpensive things in that plan that have been proposed that the MPOC could work with Public Works to maybe get done within existing budgets.
Yeah, so that's what I think.
So that's what.
And that's what I think the question is how do Silas or other people want to check with the MPOC about advocating and discussing those lower hanging fruit bike or pedestrian points of the master plan, and that because the MPOC hasn't met too often.
By what? Changing the scope of them? Is that
just discussing and like making sure the MPOC is aware of finding what the updates are on the progress, discussing
updates on what?
The progress of those 50 points in the bike pedestrian plan.
Yeah, you can,
So
that's what I've asked them to do, the MPOC, and I use them for that, to help
but they haven't
make sure we
met too
keep
often.
implementation on the forefront.
could
Well,
you
they
just
don't
clarify-
implement anything. They're not out there spraying, crosswalks or something like that. So,
working
I mean,
on
they could meet quarterly, I think, and be fine, It's just, unless they have a specific project to go along, because staff does a lot of this stuff. Once it's gone through that public process, and this is the implementations, we figure out, how do we get it funded? What do we package it? Where do we put it in with an existing project that's coming up, and so forth, and kind of slowly get, or, well, not slowly, but get those done as in a timely manner as we can.
Dave, I just want to clarify, at least as long as I've been on that committee, we've been meeting pretty much monthly. We did not meet this last one because there were members who were not available. So we were going to meet, and we were going to go through that list, and we were going to go out in the field and look at those. So, and that's what I think we're going to do the next meeting.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't meet. We didn't meet our we didn't meet our last meeting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What do you meet, once a month?
Well,
Like
we
the arts
try,
committee
the
meets
thing
once
is,
a month.
we're a subcommittee.
Okay.
So we don't have a set day. I mean, we try to shoot for like the fourth Thursday of the month, like with the planning board day. But then about, I don't know, 7 to 10 days beforehand, the week before the Thursday, it used to be Fridays, but now it's saying, I send out an email saying, hey, can everyone meet at 8:15 on, blah, 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 Thursday? And then I wait for their response. And they've been pretty good about responding. And if they're like, a lot of times, no, can't, one person, I have a conflict or something like that. So I go back and I say, okay, how about the following Thursday? And then, and then we go from there and then we decide on a date. And once we decide on a date, we try to post it. I mean, we have 24 hours by law. We try to post it, the following week. Or at least a few days beforehand.
So you have been meeting on a fairly regular basis.
Well, I had
which is
been
last
gone.
time. You were gone.
I
That's
was
it.
gone
You're
because,
right.
and then since this committee, I was kind of pushed for its creation. It wasn't here when I got here, and I pushed it for its creation. Sometimes we met very actively and met once a month, but then things would slow down and so forth. So it would kind of breathe, and we'd meet, accordingly. And as projects came along and implementations come along, then they'd be used more frequently.
Happens in all the committees, really.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
Maybe we need more people?
No, like the rules of, there's a master plan committee, a steering committee,
Right,
and a master plan oversight
That's
committee. They're two different committees.
I know that.
And the steering committee will be used when you update the master plan. That includes select board, citizens, all sorts of people. I think there was 24 on the steering committee during the 2018 update.
Yeah.
So that, that committee is open to everybody, and you get, you participate in that.
But the Master Plan Oversight Committee, could that use more people?
It's limited to 3 in the rules of procedure.
Oh, it is?
Yep, but you always should limit subcommittees to less than a quorum of the full board, because then it's basically a planning board meeting. If you have 4 people,
Yeah,
it's a planning
quorum
board
issue.
meeting.
Forgot about that.
So generally, subcommittees keep like 1 or below the quorum of the larger board.
Yeah, I forgot.
So, but you can do what you want. I mean, you could have a subcommittee with 5 if you wanted.
That might be able to have.
But you would have to change the rules of procedure, because your rules of procedure spell out 3 members.
Yes.
My final concern tonight is that this has been identified by Exeter citizens since 2018, right? It took until 2026, to get an adopted complete streets policy. I firmly understand that there's a process for big, large CIP projects that need to work their way through the process. What is the process for low to zero budget projects that do not follow that traditional large budget neighborhood meetings and follow that flow? Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying, but I just think I look at government as it's all process. Everything is process, and it takes time.
Yeah.
So
Grants,
I think, I do appreciate that you're meeting if it's monthly, but things take time, and little things in business too take time. It doesn't happen quickly, and I understand that it's been a long time. I get that, and I think it will be wonderful. To have, a little bit, having seen that plan, it looks great when it's all going to be completed. But I envision it taking a while for it all to be completed, just because that's the way it goes. That's my opinion, probably more than, I've only been here a little bit of time, but that's my, and I hate to say that because I know you.
Right.
But I'm a little frustrated when I hear people saying, they're not in front of the places we want them to be. But I look at other places where you have to be transported into town by a bus because it's too busy in town. We don't have that, but I do think people can park at a bike stand that's a little bit further away and walk instead of using the trees. And I've used the trees, so I'm guilty of that. I won't anymore. I'll park at a bike stand. But I don't see that many bikes parked in town. I don't. That's me.
Yeah.
That's, and so I kind of wish they would use what we have. That doesn't mean that more shouldn't be added at the ends of town rather than in the center of town.
But I think the question was, what's the process to work on those?
Correct.
And I don't know the answer to that.
I can answer that. Well, no cost always worries me because I don't know of anything that doesn't
Well,
cost
low cost,
anything.
we'll say.
Low cost. Okay, and they're identified in the plan.
Styles, yeah.
It's a project that's specifically identified in a plan, or is it a project that's not identified in a plan? So there's two different answers for that. That's why I'm asking.
There are projects that I'm sure if we went out and we talked to our neighbors and we walked around, like the Park Street Bridge, right? They're going to have different perspectives because they live in that neighborhood. And those may have not made it into that bicycle and pedestrian master plan. But there are the 50 identified. And I think both carry equal weight.
What do you mean? The ones that aren't in the plan and the ones that are in the plan?
I think the perspective.
So I think it's just a matter of process.
Yes, and that's
because
what
it's
I'm
all
trying
process.
to understand.
If it's not in a plan, it's not the MPOC or the planning board. It just isn't. I don't know. Talk to your select board. Talk to town manager. What have you, DPW, or ask the town manager to, direct you to who to talk to about implementing something. That would be my suggestion on that. If it's actually in a plan, if it's specific in a plan, then the MPOC is the one in charge with making sure implementation happens. So you can come to a meeting and you can, ask number 55, or whatever, number 35, do you know when you're going to get to that, or do you know where that is, or whatever. That would be the option for that stuff that's in the plan. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
So just for my own understanding, if it's in the bicycle and pedestrian master plan, are we going to wait until there is a grant opportunity or funding available to do a complete build out versus doing a low cost project that achieves similar safety goals?
Well, I think I said earlier, it's a combination of both, and I thought I just explain that with the MPOC right now is looking at the low-hanging fruit and items that we could possibly get done in the plan, and we identified a host of them, and we also identified ones we want to go out and look at, just because we couldn't visualize them in this room. And so, they're going out to, but when you look at them, then there's a lot of questions, like how much is this going to cost? And someone has to, weigh in on that. And we have to go to DPW and select board potentially. So there's a process. But I don't know, it's not a process to I have to know, that's what I was saying earlier, specific details will dictate the specific process.
Yeah.
And the level of the project will require more process,
Well, question, I'm curious, just generally, Dave, is requesting feedback on one of the identified projects, can that be through email or another method to the MPOC, or does it have to be at the meeting?
What do you mean?
So if a citizen was wondering about what's the status of, item 1
Okay.
on.
Yeah.
Could they directly email you that and?
No.
Or the MPOC?
Well, they're a public body in accordance with the statute, right? So they cannot. We always advise them not to engage in discussions until you're at a public meeting.
Okay.
It's not. They need to take minutes. They need. Meetings need to be noticed. I mean, there are quorum issues. You can talk to one. but we usually advise against that, because you talk to one, then you go talk to the other, and then you talk to the third one. So, or you talk to two of them separately. Even if you talk to two of them separately about the same issue, that becomes a quorum, because you've talked to two, and it needs minutes and posting. So email is generally, like, you can email, and you could email me, but I would take that email, I would wait till a meeting, and then I would present it at the meeting and say, okay, we get referenced, here it is, you want to answer, so they could discuss it at that point. Does that answer your question?
That does, yes,
Yeah,
thank
okay.
you. And there's minutes, are those recorded, the MPOCs?
Yes. Well, recorded, not at the Registry of Deeds, but they're.
I meant like.
They're created.
Meeting videos.
They're posted on the website.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, that it's been there's no subcommittees that I'm aware of are recorded.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's not that we couldn't do it, it's just, it's like, it's so much easier when you got planning board, zoning, but they meet second and fourth Thursday of every month, or first, Tuesday. And Exeter TV knows, we'd be constantly shifting and changing it, so.
Okay.
It hasn't been the policy of the town.
So then just to clarify what we just talked about, if something's in the bike ped plan, the process of advocating for that, following up with it, is at the MPOC.
For implementation items, action items in the plan, yes, I would say that go through the MPOC.
And then anything that's net new is planning, it's select board, DPW, whatever it.
The devil's in the details.
Yeah.
What are you proposing?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a new fire hydrant, well, it's the fire department.
Right.
Start with them, and so it depends on what you're proposing.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that point to close that question that I had out.
Does everything, that make sense to everyone? Am I? Okay.
Well, Silas, is it your question?
Yep, I think that's a good start. I understand that things move slowly in town, right? I just would hate for ideas that come up that are outside of the bicycle and pedestrian master plan that make our neighborhoods and our communities safer to fall by the wayside just because they're not officially recognized or they were unable to make that public comment when those plans were being developed.
So, and if I understood right, that means that kind of thing, if it's outside of the master plan, you're going to go to select board. Is that right?
Or DPW.
Town, yeah, I mean, maybe the town manager, have a conversation, like, describe what it is and what they need to do, and he might have some direction on where to go. I wouldn't send him to the planning board, because the planning board, this is unusual, because you don't have public comment period in your rules of procedure, you don't have open comment, you have public hearings on applications, so this isn't even what you usually do. So it's just, once the details, it'd be happy to use me with a specific thing, and I can help you or identify a process. But what you say, like, if you got an idea, and like, okay, you think it's a good idea, but there's a whole town of people, there's a process that, the public just goes through where you as a homeowner, or me as a homeowner, don't have to go through. I can go and do something in my backyard in, moment's notice. It's not the same when it comes to the public realm and spending public funds. So it's just different. And there's a process with everything. I get it. And it can be frustrating, but there's always one.
Yeah, my question is not about the speed, it's about the process. So, as explained, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Thanks, Silas.
Yes?
Could I make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 25th?
I have some changes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we want to take on the minutes?
Would you like me to?
Sure.
Okay.
Do those. I was working down through the list.
On page 4 of 6, line 128, it says Miss Belanger asked about the note. I just want to add on the handout, because that night we were given a handout and there was a note on there. And then on line 131 and 132, it says, it's really odd the way it's worded, so I watched the meeting, that part of it, and I'd like to change it to say, Miss Belanger asked about snow storage, and Mr. Boyd removed showed and replaced that with pointed out 2 locations on the plan, period. Mr. Boyd said, so before I go after the period, let me pause and just I want to take out and that he is working with Mr. Staples, who does landscaping on plantings. That doesn't make any sense. So we need to remove that and replace it with, Mr. Boyd said that although they do not need to offer any plantings, they are working with a neighbor, Dwayne Staples, on plantings. Does that make more sense? Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
None?
I just have one, maybe I just don't understand it, but on page 2, line 60, and Dave, I don't know if you have a copy of this. I think this, I'm not sure you said it, but the line before it says, Mr. Staples, Mr. Chapels noted one is a sidewalk on Railroad Ave that has no parking anywhere, and there is ongoing parking on Winter Street in front of the cemetery. But then it goes on to say, the study would likely reduce traffic and parking. I don't know what that's referring to. What study?
So it's line 61.
Line 60.
60.
Yeah, second.
Yeah, 60 and 61.
It doesn't sound like anything we said. I didn't check the,
There is
board.
no parking signs on the sides of the road there, but yeah, that last sentence.
Where it says the study would likely reduce traffic and parking. I don't.
Okay, I was talking about a road safety audit that was done.
Okay.
That the state did. It's a RSA, road safety audit.
Okay.
And they had a couple of suggestions about that area because it was brought up at that meeting about parking on there, and there was a TAP grant and stuff like that. And I said, well, the TAP grant's not for this section; it's over here. That's where the Winter Street Cemetery, where there is no parking now. But then I said the couple of options that they presented in the RSA were turning that section of Winter Street into a one-way and not allowing a left off of 111. Kingston Road, Front Street, whatever it is at that point, not allowing a left as you're coming from Riverwoods, you can't turn left there. So they blocked it off. So I said it would likely reduce traffic if any of those things were implemented. I didn't say reduce parking. I don't see how it would reduce parking, but
It's
it
very
would
limited
reduce
anyway
traffic.
there. Okay.
So maybe just eliminate and parking?
Yeah, that's. I don't remember saying. I don't know why I would say that.
Okay.
So, but it definitely would reduce traffic because if you go to a one-way, then you're going to reduce the number of cars.
So it would just be line 61, Marty, just a period after traffic.
Yes.
And remove and parking.
That's good.
Okay.
Now, have I got to have John do a call again?
I have to make a motion.
Oh, well.
And then John can do his thing. So I move to accept the planning board meeting minutes for, sorry guys, breathing's tough these days, for June 25th, 2026, as amended.
Second.
Okay. You still there, John?
Mr. Gruder.
John, you're on.
Is he under
Checked out.
participants? If you can click on participants, you can see if he's on there.
It says there's
No, it's all right.
two.
Up there.
Is he on there?
No,
No.
it's just chair and Exeter TV.
Okay.
It's his bedtime.
Right.
No.
And the vice chair's not here, so who can act as clerk?
Just a
Can
voice vote.
just anyone do the roll call? Do you know? I don't know the rules on that.
Yeah, the rules are silent. You don't have a rule
Right,
on
I
that,
know if
so
the clerk is running the meeting, Pete, remember Pete Cameron gave us a whole history, legal lesson on that one.
We'll just,
Not here, we don't need to do a roll call.
Oh, that's right, oh my
That's right.
gosh.
Good point.
Just has to be noted that he left, and we can just do your normal stuff.
those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Thank you.
Ayes have it. Phew.
Brain isn't totally
Oh, my
Roll call
God.
is just because.
I do have a question, if I could ask it. Do we have an update on the site walk for next Tuesday?
Which I shouldn't.
5 o'clock?
5 Brentwood Road? Is that happening?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You'll get a reminder on that, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yep.
In the summer.
confirm it at my office.
It's going to be by ourselves.
Parked at
Not conservation.
Not going to have company.
Okay.
Yep.
Doesn't take up.
Would be down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the coffee.
Anybody like to make an adjournment?
Move to adjourn?
Oh, good. Got a second down here to adjourn?
Oh, I thought I heard a second.
Can Sam second?
Sam,
Okay, second. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.